A sword master joins the Magic Academy to start a new life. Volume 4 by Hitsuji Teru, translated by Renkun and Arcadia. Audiobook by Masquerade at Masquerade Audiobooks. Prologue. The meaning of tears. An endless expanse of scorched earth stretched out before the eyes. Countless ruins lay scattered across the landscape, and innumerable corpses littered the ground. As far as the eye could see, a sea of death. Bodies upon bodies, a mountain of corpses, rivers of blood. This was the scene of a great nation's demise, its final ruin. In the midst of this twilight, there stood a woman, a magician clad in a white robe. The Demon King of Twilight, a name that struck fear and revulsion into the hearts of all, the most infamous and fearsome mage of all. She was the one who had brought this nation to its knees. As the woman raised her staff and chanted an incantation, the countless corpses strewn around her began to stir. One by one, their souls were drawn forth from their body and gathering toward her. The souls, converging with such force that they seemed to blanket the sky itself, were absorbed into the outstretched left hand of the magician, being devoured, one after another. At last, having consumed every last soul without leaving a single one behind, the woman exhaled with satisfaction. Her body thrummed with newfound power, invigorated by the absorption of countless lives. As if to confirm this, she opened and closed her left hand, a faint smile curling her lips. It was then. "Is your meal complete, Shenwara-sama?" From behind the woman, as if seeping out from the very shadows themselves, another figure appeared, a mage kneeling in reverence, one knee pressed to the ground. Clad in a black robe woven of shadow, their face obscured by a deep hood, the mage spoke. "Yes, Hale, it's been a while, hasn't it?" The Demon King of Twilight, Shenwara, turned to face the newcomer, her smile as cold as ice. "It seems you have grown even more powerful, Shenwara-sama. This nation I destroyed had an abundance of exceptional mages. Thanks to that, my rank has risen once more. And thanks to you, Hale. I am deeply honored." The mage called Hale bowed even lower, their reverence profound. "Now, to the next matter," Shenwara continued. "Introduce me to a nation worthy of being devoured, a land with mages befitting my sacrifice." "As you command. However, I would advise you to lie low for a time and conceal your presence." At this, Shenwara's face twisted into a blatantly displeased expression. "Why?" "The one known as the Dawn Swordsman is hunting you, Shenwara-sama. Oh, that foolish swordsman who dares defy me despite being a mere non-mage. Ignore them, a non-mage could never hope to challenge me. But the Dawn Swordsman, though a non-mage, possesses inexplicable techniques." "Hale." Shenwara's voice cut through Hale's warning like a blade, cold and unyielding. "Why do you think I allow you to live?" "My apologies, I overstepped." With that exchange, Shenwara prepared to depart the scene. But as she passed by Hale, still prostrate on the ground, something happened. "Shenwara-sama." Hale's voice suddenly rang out. "What?" Shenwara paused, turning to look back at Hale. A moment of silence hung between them. "No, it's nothing. Forgive my impertinence." Hale muttered softly, cutting the conversation short. What Hale had meant to point out, what Shenwara herself had not even noticed, was a single tear trailing down her cheek. Chapter 1, The Spider's Thread. "The time is ripe. I declared as much before the gathered assembly." This was a secret room, hidden somewhere within the Astoria Magic Academy. No one knew of its location or how to enter, save for the members of our prayer faction. Indeed, this was the stronghold of the prayer faction within the Astoria Magic Academy, its darkest underbelly. In this room, where magic rendered our forms imperceptible to one another, I continued addressing the clandestine gathering of members. As you all know, since the Dardrick tragedy, the situation, long stagnant, has finally begun to shift. Thus, it is time for us to resume our sublime pursuit. At my proposal, the assembled members stirred with excitement. Indeed, this is an opportune moment. Absolutely. Ha 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 ha. My heart races with anticipation. To think that we, the prayer faction, might finally grasp the ultimate secrets of the Demon King of Twilight. With this, we shall reach the truth, the primordial soul, the true omniscience and omnipotence, and we shall become gods. Every member was visibly elated, intoxicated by the prospect of the wisdom and glory we were poised to attain. There is, a problem, is there not? A relatively composed member doused the fervor with cold water. A problem, you say? In response to my question, the member answered succinctly, Rix Frestat. At that moment, every face in the room twisted with irritation at the mention of that name. Indeed, it was thanks to him that this stagnant situation has shifted. We have been granted a prime opportunity to pursue the ultimate secrets of the Demon King of Twilight. However, as it stands, he is also the greatest obstacle to our pursuit, as you well know. Indeed. What's more, he is on intimate terms with Rudel Astoria, a fanatic extremist who despises us even more than the anti-prayer faction led by Headmaster Jake and Great Sage Darwin. Even Headmaster Jake and his ilk hold Rix Frestat in high regard. It's not hard to imagine that if we move in earnest toward our ultimate goal, Rix Frestat will stand in our way. At this member's calm analysis, the room erupted into chaos. Curse that Rix Frestat, a mere ignorant fool who can't even use magic. A wretched being bearing the same blade of light as the Dawn swordsman, who felled the Demon King of Twilight with a single stroke. Even our prayer magic is powerless before that enigmatic sword flash. Why does invincible prayer magic fall to a mere sword? The reason remains utterly unknown. Damn it, how infuriating. Just when the time foretold in Hale's prophecy has arrived. Why, of all times, did such a peculiar anomaly appear in this era? If not for that man, we would be invincible. But to the agitated crowd, I spoke calmly. Yet he is not yet perfect. Rix Frestat's sword of light, its precision is worlds apart from that of the real Dawn swordsman. For now, it does not pose a significant threat to us. For now, that is. At my words, the assembly fell silent, swallowing hard. Then, a perceptive member, grasping my intent, asked coolly, So, you intend to take action this time, don't you? As you did with Rudel, as you did with the ancient dragon species, and as you did with Comrade Anna. Precisely, I will kill Rix Frestat myself, I responded resolutely. Ever since their enrollment, I have been monitoring them without their knowledge. There is no one better suited to act this time than I, indeed. In a sense, you are the closest among us to the realm of the former Demon King of Twilight. There is no one more fitting for this task. Fortunately, we have the bait to lure Rix Frestat into a trap. Will you entrust this to me? Progress always comes with risks, especially when it means grasping the truth. To hesitate in the face of this opportunity is unthinkable, but proceed with utmost caution. The shifting of this stagnant situation is an opportunity not only for us, but also for the anti-prayer faction, Headmaster Jake, Great Sage Darwin, and Rudel. Of course, I understand. With that, I replied to my comrades and quietly departed the scene. Section. During a lunch break at the Astoria Magic Academy. As usual, after finishing their meal in the cafeteria and heading back to the classroom, Rick spoke to Randy. Hey, Randy, I've been thinking lately, am I totally screwed? No kidding, you're screwed, Randy replied bluntly. Rix fell silent for a good few seconds at the brutally honest response. Why, yeah, you're right, what month is it again? It's been ages since then, and I haven't achieved a single thing to qualify for promotion. Arg, I don't want to get expelled. Huh? Sheena, walking behind them, let out a sigh as Rix clutched his head and wailed. The Astoria Magic Academy, an institution dedicated to training mages destined to shape the world's future. Rix Frestat, a student there, was a former mercenary swordsman who still couldn't use magic worth a damn. Driven by the baffling ambition to become a mage despite his inability to wield magic, he attended the academy, enduring grueling days of effort. But the world wasn't kind enough to reward mere hard work. To begin with, as a former mercenary swordsman with little formal education, his academic performance was abysmal, though recent efforts had slightly improved it. Still, at this rate, Rix would fail the year-end promotion exams and face expulsion. Indeed, at this academy, failing to advance meant expulsion. To avoid that fate, he needed to achieve some extraordinary accomplishment worthy of promotion by the end of the year. It's not fair. I'm trying so hard, so why can't I achieve anything worthy of promotion? Rix clutched his head and shouted to the heavens. I even went into the mountains for training and took down a dragon single-handedly to qualify for promotion. And how exactly did you think that would help you advance? Randy retorted dryly. Rix, dead serious, responded. Can you mages take down a dragon single-handedly? Without magic? Nope, not even with magic. Exactly. I accomplished something normal mages can't. That's gotta count as an achievement, right? It's not a mage's achievement, though. Plus, you went off on a journey to hunt a wild dragon, skipped classes like crazy, and made an even worse impression with the academy higher-ups. Are you seriously an idiot? Shino added. But taking down a dragon single-handedly boosted Anaki's fame? Tran chimed in, sounding as thrilled as if it were his own accomplishment. Thanks to that, mercenaries, soldiers, adventurers, monster hunters, bounty hunters, and magic hunters have been eyeing Anaki, coming to recruit him every day. Shoo, shoo, sprinkle salt on them to drive them away. I don't want to be recruited by those kinds of people. Rix waved his hands in disgust. Oh, and, right, I succeeded in creating a new artificial life form in the Alchemy Club. Isn't that a proper mage's achievement? Oh, you mean that sludgy, amorphous creature with countless googly eyes? The blasphemous thing that drains your sanity just looking at it? Randy said. It looked a bit creepy, sure. But Elsie-senpai said creating a new artificial life form was amazing. For the record, the experiment was supposed to be a simple, foolproof alchemy task to design a new decorative cactus. But due to an unprecedented blunder by Rix and Tran, who doubled the materials in the alchemy cauldron, the result was an accidental abomination. That's gotta be a brilliant achievement as a mage. But that blasphemous amorphous creature went berserk and started devouring the magical beasts kept by the Magical Creature Breeding Club, didn't it? Shino interjected. Lurk. Thanks to that, the Magical Creature Breeding Club suffered a huge loss of valuable beasts. Mick-senpai, the beast-loving weirdo, completely lost it, fell to the dark side, and came after your life. You two had an epic battle that left half the academy in ruins. That was pretty recent, wasn't it? Stop, Shino, please. Mick-senpai, I've never met anyone, even in my mercenary days, who harbored such a demon within. Rix, apparently triggered by some trauma, turned pale, clutched his head, and swayed as if nauseous. For the record, Rix eventually made peace with Mick-senpai by handing over the blasphemous creature to the Magical Creature Breeding Club. And, oh, right, I've been actively helping with the Student Council, the top student organization. That's gotta count for something, right? Nope, Randy said. Yeah, no way. Even Seraphina, who had been silent until now, joined in with a fiery retort. I've warned you countless times, but only second years and above can officially join the Student Council. Until then, anything you do for them doesn't count for evaluation. You're just doing personal favors for that sly Student Council President Rudel. Why can't you get that? But Rudel-senpai is beautiful, cute, and has a great figure. So you're 100% just charmed by Rudel's allure, aren't you? And she's beautiful and has a great figure. Enough already, you idiot. This is why men are. With a grinding sound, Seraphina grabbed Rix, locking his arm in a tight arm lock. Anyway, I'm trying so hard, so why can't I get any results? Because you're putting effort in the wrong direction, Randy suggested. And even when you do achieve something, you always manage to rack up enough negative points to cancel it out, Shino added coolly. Damn it, am I really no good? Can I never become a mage? Am I doomed to get expelled? Please, everyone, don't forget that a guy named Rix Frestat once studied at this academy. As if we could forget you, Randy sighed. But seriously, we need to solve Rix's problem soon, or it's gonna get bad, Randy added. Yeah, Annie nodded, looking worried. Isn't there, some way to turn this around in one shot? Normally, I'd say give up because there isn't, but, Shino said, glancing aside. Her gaze landed on a bulletin board. Rix, you're lucky. Take a look at that. Prompted by Shino, Rix and the others turned to the bulletin board, where a newly posted notice caught their eye. Its contents. The selection for representatives for the Dardrick Magic Tournament, Randy shouted in disbelief. No way, seriously. The traditional Dardrick Magic Tournament, which was cancelled for years, is being revived this year. That's awfully sudden, isn't it? HMPH, what's brought about this sudden change? Not only Randy, but also Annie and Seraphina couldn't hide their astonishment. What's this Dardrick Magic Tournament thing? Rix, bewildered and unable to grasp the situation, prompted Shino to sigh and begin explaining. The Dardrick Magic Tournament is a magical competition held in the ancient city of Dardrick, a local city in the Principality of Astoria. Once a year, representatives from the Astoria Magic Academy and its sister schools in the Aldoran Empire, and the Falsius Kingdom gather in Dardrick for a traditional three-school magical contest. Since these three academies are the top institutions in the world's three great powers, the Principality of Astoria, the Aldoran Empire, and the Falsius Kingdom, this is effectively a world championship for young mages. However, 3 years ago, during the tournament, the Prayer faction performed a forbidden prayer magic ritual, using the participants and spectators as sacrifices. This led to countless casualties. Rix, you've heard of it, haven't you? The Dardrick tragedy. Shino fixed her gaze on Rix, only to find. Zzz. Rix was fast asleep, standing upright. Don't fall asleep in the middle of this. Grrrrrrrrrr. Gwa, sorry, I'm sorry. It's just the explanation was so long, I couldn't help it. Rix yelped as Shino locked him in a headlock. I realized this after coming to this academy and listening to teachers or reading textbooks. Anything longer than 3 lines makes me insanely sleepy. I'm really sorry. You seriously think you can become a mage like this? I question your sanity, Shino said, casting a cold, withering stare at Rix as he bowed apologetically. Fine, whatever. The point is, this is an opportunity. An opportunity. Yes, each school sends 5 representatives to the Dardrick Magic Tournament. Here at the Astoria Magic Academy, 4 of those are chosen by a special magical artifact called the Roster of the Unicorn Goddess. The Roster of the Unicorn Goddess, that's the thing that. Yes, the same artifact that selected you and me as special students. It supposedly picks the strongest members of the Academy fit to compete in the Dardrick Magic Tournament. Realistically, though, it's almost certain that Rudel and the other student council members will be chosen by the roster, given their skill. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Rix recalled the time Rudel had invited him to meet the student council members. Harold Trevor, Liz Lapel, Ramai Riohart. The gap between upperclassmen and underclassmen was staggering. Each of them was a formidable mage, rivaling Rudel herself in skill. With Rudel included, the student council was, in essence, the Academy's most powerful student faction. But the final slot is determined through a rigorous practical exam, the representative selection trials. It's open to all students, from first years to third years, competing for that last spot. Along with the Dardrick Magic Tournament itself, it's one of the Academy's traditional events. I see, so if I can snag that last slot and shine in the Dardrick Magic Tournament. Exactly. That would be a significant achievement. The Academy wouldn't dare expel a student who excels in the Dardrick Magic Tournament, a competition where each school's pride is on the line. If you can pull it off, all your problems could be solved in one go. Whoa. As Rix marveled at Shino's explanation, Randy spoke up, a mix of admiration and exasperation in his tone. Hey Shino, you sure know a lot about this. Since the Dardrick tragedy, there's been almost no information about it. I'm learning all this for the first time, he added. HMPH, it's not a big deal. A little research and anyone could find this out, Shino replied dismissively. I see, so you're going all out for Rix, huh? Is this the power of love at work? Zjo. I'm sorry, Yi. Shino, expressionless, gathered super-gravity magic at the tip of her wand, forcing Randy to grovel in apology. Then, turning to Rix, she asked, So, what's it going to be, Rix? Are you joining the representative selection trials? Absolutely. Rix shouted without hesitation. Thanks, Shino. I had no idea there was such a loophole. All right. I'm going to give it my all in the selection trials and become one of the representatives. Starting today, it's training time. Yes, I'll register your name for the selection trials. Also, I'll go over the tendencies and strategies for the trials later, so you'd better do your best. You're helping me with everything. HMPH, you're such a handful. As the two bantered, Annie and Seraphina muttered to each other. Shino-san's totally like a mom, isn't she? Indeed. Hooray, you calling a mom? Shino, catching their whispers with sharp ears, shot a sidelong glare at Annie and Seraphina. Section. Meanwhile, in the headmaster's office at the Astoria Magic Academy. Inside the room, Headmaster Jake, Great Sage Darwin, and Instructor Crawford stood with grave expressions. That was quite a bold move, wasn't it? Breaking the heavy silence, Darwin directed a sharp remark at the female student summoned before them, Rudel. Oh, whatever do you mean? Despite Darwin's probing, Rudel maintained her serene smile. Don't play coy. The decision to hold the Dardrick Magic Tournament, you were pulling the strings behind it, weren't you, Princess Rudel Astoria of the Principality of Astoria? At Darwin's accusation, Rudel's lips curved faintly, like a trace of vermilion drawn across the darkness, as she let out a soft chuckle. Recently, even those who were cautious or neutral about holding the tournament suddenly began advocating for it with fervor. Upon investigation, they all turned out to be under your influence in one way or another. You didn't even bother hiding it, did you, you witch? Oh my, how harsh, great sage Darwin, Rudel said with a playful laugh. Indeed, I went around persuading various parties to support the tournament's revival, but is that really so strange? The Dardrick Magic Tournament is a prestigious tradition our academy takes pride in, a stage for the world's finest young mages to compete. A place where chosen youths hone their skills against one another in a contest of magic. It inspires others to aspire to follow in their footsteps, serving as a goal for both participants and spectators alike, a truly meaningful event. Isn't it strange, then, to keep canceling it due to the convenience of those in charge? You cunning vixen, Darwin snapped, cutting through Rudel's words coldly. Enough with the pretense. The reason the Dardrick Magic Tournament has been repeatedly cancelled is that it was revealed to be a ritual for reviving a certain prayer magic. Don't pretend you don't know about the Dardrick tragedy. Darwin clenched his fist, his eyes blazing, not at Rudel but at himself. Thinking back, it makes my blood boil. Despite my presence, I let the prayer faction scheme succeed, sacrificing countless students and citizens. We lost promising mages like Richard. Such a tragedy must never happen again. The fury radiating from Darwin was so intense that an ordinary person might have fainted from its weight alone. Yet, is it truly all right to leave things as they are? Rudel brushed it off effortlessly, responding with resolve. Even without holding the Dardrick Magic Tournament, the prayer faction will eventually complete that prayer magic. You three know why, don't you? At her words, Darwin, Crawford, and Headmaster Jake fell silent. Geez, Princess, you've really gone all out, haven't you? To think you've figured out that much, what a hassle, Crawford said, scratching his head with a sigh. If that prayer magic is truly completed, it will bring about the world's destruction. If sitting idly by will lead to that outcome, shouldn't we at least choose the timing ourselves? Indeed, the enemy's opportunity is also our opportunity, is that it? Headmaster Jake, arms crossed, spoke with commanding presence. Yes. The prayer faction will undoubtedly make their move during this opportunity. They have no choice. And when they move, gaps will appear, even in that secretive, elusive group. In other words, this is our chance to crush the prayer faction, and we have a path to victory. I have a reliable ally, after all. Rudel's proposal was met with a moment of silence. But then, I don't understand, Darwin muttered. Why are you so fixated on the Dardrick Magic Tournament? As I recall, the most vocal opponent of holding the tournament was none other than you, Rudel Astoria. Rudel maintained her serene smile, remaining silent at Darwin's pointed remark. Undeterred, Darwin pressed on relentlessly. And now, you've suddenly become an advocate for the tournament, going so far as to manipulate its opponents into supporting it. What's brought about this change? It's nothing significant, Rudel replied, deflecting Darwin's piercing gaze. In the past, I lost someone dear to me in the Dardrick tragedy. It was painful, sorrowful, agonizing, and I shunned the Dardrick Magic Tournament itself. To me, it was a wretched thing that took Richard Sama from me. But I realized that clinging to the past and ignoring the future was wrong. If I truly want to honor Richard Sama's memory, if I want to settle the past and move forward, my task isn't to reject the Dardrick Magic Tournament. It's to eradicate the prayer faction, to thwart their schemes. That's all. With that, Rudel looked directly at Darwin and the others. Will you join me? I have a trump card. That's a determined look, Headmaster Jake said. It seems you've undergone quite a change of heart. And the catalyst for that was? Yes, thanks to Rick's gun, Rudel said with a gentle smile, nodding. Because of him, I was able to reevaluate my own heart. I'd be lying if I said I have no desire for revenge against the prayer faction, for taking Richard Sama from me, but more than that, as Rudel Astoria, president of the Astoria Magic Academy Student Council, I want to protect this academy where Rick's gun and the others belong. Ha Rick's Frestat, Truly the eye of the storm, Headmaster Jake said, laughing with a radiance like the sun. Very well, until now we've been forced to play catch-up, but if we know the prayer faction will act, we have countless ways to respond. This time, we'll take the initiative. And we'll win. Thus, driven by various motives, the Dardrick Magic Tournament began to take shape. Chapter 2, The Face-Off. Whoa, so everyone here is signing up for the selection trials. Man, they all look tough. Rix let out a gasp of awe, while Randy nodded with a troubled expression. They were in the magical arena, located beneath the Astoria Magic Academy. A large crowd of students had gathered in the central circular field. Today was the first round of the selection trials to choose the fifth and final representative for the Dardrick Magic Tournament. As the trials were open to all regardless of year or gender, numerous students confident in their magical prowess had gathered, each vying for the coveted spot. Speaking of which, Randy, who ended up being the 4 confirmed representatives chosen by the roster of the Unicorn Goddess. Oh, it was pretty much as expected, Randy said, crossing his arms and listing the names of the 4 announced representatives. Second year from the blue class, Rudel Senpai. Second year from the white class, Harold Senpai. Second year from the blue class, Liz Senpai. And third year from the red class, Ramai Senpai. Basically, the entire current student council lineup. Figures. Totally predictable, Rix nodded repeatedly. I mean, it's hard to imagine anyone else getting picked over those guys. Yeah, I'd say the same, Randy agreed. In a way, I'm kinda relieved they were chosen as expected. If any of them were competing in these trials, I wouldn't stand a chance at grabbing that last slot, Rick said. True enough, Randy replied. By the way, why are you all here? Rix turned to look at the group behind him. There stood Randy, Shino, Annie, Serafina, and Tran, the usual crew, as if their presence was a given. Don't tell me you guys are entering the trials too. No way, Shino shot back, coldly dismissing Rix's question. We're just here to watch and cheer you on. I have no interest in this festival-like competition to begin with. Plus, as the former Demon King of Twilight, frankly, I'd rather not draw attention by participating. I am not good with fighting to begin with, Annie added, shrinking back. Nor I do admire the Dardrick Magic Tournament that Risharl Sama competed in, Serafina said. If I were to join, my selection as a representative would be all but guaranteed. However, this tournament is a joint event hosted by the Principality of Astoria, the Falsius Kingdom, and my homeland, the Alderan Empire. I'd rather not stand out right now. I see, Rix nodded. Serafina was the 3rd princess of the Alderan Empire. Logically, she could have attended the Alderan Academy in her homeland, but her decision to enroll at the Astoria Academy hinted at some underlying circumstances. Tran wanted to join, though, Tran whined, puffing out their cheeks. You're Rix's summon beast, aren't you? Only students are eligible to participate, Shino said, cutting Tran down with icy words. But then, I'm joining, Randy declared unexpectedly. What? Rix exclaimed. You're aiming for the one open slot too? All right, no choice then. Guess we'll have to fight it out. Whoa, hold it, put that away. Stow that dangerous thing. Randy recoiled as Rix, with a wild look in his eyes, began eagerly drawing his sword. Relax, I'm just testing my strength. I've been grinding away in the duel club, you know. Oh right, you're in the duel club, aren't you? Yeah. I've been getting pummeled by the upperclassmen there, so I just want to see how much I've grown. As Randy clenched his fist, brimming with determination. Indeed, Randy's been making remarkable progress lately, a voice chimed in. Rix and the others turned to see a 3rd-year female student with bright blonde hair and marine blue eyes, smiling gently. Her refined, ladylike demeanor marked her as strikingly beautiful. Judging by her tie, she was a 3rd year. Karen Senpai. Randy's face flushed slightly as he shrank back in awe. Who's that? Rix asked. She's the head of the duel club I'm in, always looking out for me, Randy mumbled. Greetings, everyone. I'm Karen Lancaster, the 3rd year from the white class said, smiling warmly at the group. I've been personally overseeing Randy's training in the duel club. He's got great potential, and I genuinely believe he could one day lead the club. Oh, why yeah, I'll do my best. In front of Karen, Randy averted his gaze, his usual cool confidence replaced by a flustered, awkward demeanor. Come to think of it, Randy once mentioned meeting a goddess in the academy. Could it be? As Rix pondered this vaguely, Karen's gaze shifted to him, appraising him with a sidelong glance. So, you're the Rix that Randy's always talking about. As expected, you seem formidable. Quite the presence for a non-mage. With so many prodigious second years dominating the roster of the Unicorn Goddess. Few third years were selected, so I was hoping to restore some pride for my year, but this might be tough. Karen teased gracefully, but Rix couldn't shake a bitter feeling. Yikes, this Karen person's insanely strong too. Indeed, the student council's 4 were likely the strongest, but there were surely other students of comparable or near-comparable skill. Glancing around, Rick spotted several such individuals scattered among the crowd. Well then, I look forward to facing you in the trials. Farewell for now. Karen offered a breezy farewell and left the scene. That Karen, she's no pushover, is she? She won't be easy to deal with, Rix, Seraphina said warily. Yeah, Rix agreed. As they acknowledged Karen's strength, Randy spoke up, a hint of nervousness in his voice. Man, as expected of the folks signing up for the selection trials. Looking at them now, they all seem so strong. Am I totally out of place here? I was thinking of bowing out if it came down to competing with you, Rix, but looks like that's not gonna happen. Sorry, man, he added. No big deal. If it comes to that, I'll just win it fair and square. That's how it works, right? True enough, Randy nodded. As the group chatted and laughed, a cold voice cut through their banter. HMPH. Still playing at your cozy little friendships. You lot are beneath the dignity of mages. The group turned to see. Alfred. Their classmate Alfred, who often clashed with Rix, had appeared. You're aiming for the Dardrick Magic Tournament representative slot too, huh? Too bad for you. That spot's going to me, Alfred Lordstone. There's no place for a lowly non-mage like you. Ha. As usual, Alfred pushed up his glasses, dripping with aristocratic arrogance, disdain, and hostility toward Rix. Oh, right, figures you'd join too, Alfred, Rix replied with a wry grimace, as if he just remembered something unpleasant. Honestly, if I had to pick the one person in this academy I least want to fight, it'd be you. Huh. Alfred blinked in surprise as Rix scratched his cheek and continued. Your specialty's mental attacks, right? That's a bad matchup for me. Honestly, you're a tougher opponent for me than Shino, Rudel Senpai, Seraphina, or even that Karen Senpai from earlier. Not to mention, you're an all-rounder with exceptional skill as a mage. Sure, you've got rotten luck and haven't had a chance to show your true strength, but in a straight fight, you're probably stronger than most upperclassmen. So you're joining too, huh? Yeah, makes sense. You've got your own dreams, goals, and honor to uphold, right? There's only one slot but no helping it. Let's fight fair and square, Alfred. No hard feelings. Rix extended his hand with a refreshing smile. HMPH. After a moment, Alfred turned away, his face slightly flushed as he spoke brusquely. What are you misunderstanding? As if you and I could ever be a real match. If a lowly non-mage like you insists on challenging me, I suppose I could entertain a direct confrontation. Wash your neck and wait. Though he didn't shake Rix's hand, Alfred muttered as much before storming off. What was that? Did Alfred Kun just kinda soften up? Annie wondered. Randy answered, he's probably just too lonely. He's got insane talent but always has bad timing, so he never gets to shine. Plus, with that personality, he's got 0 friends. Getting acknowledged like that, treated like a worthy rival, it'd get to anyone in his shoes. He's too easy, it's almost sad, Seraphina said, wiping a tear from her eye as Randy did the same. Just then, ZZT, a wave of intense tension rippled through the arena. The group turned toward the source of the disturbance, where a crowd of students had gathered, buzzing with excitement. And the moment Rix saw the figure at the center. Hey, Rix. Ignoring Randy's call, Rix bolted straight toward the commotion. No way, that guy, he's bad news. Section, at the heart of the disturbance stood 2 students. One was a male student. Towering in height with a muscular build unusual for a mage, his sharp, hawk-like features and rugged demeanor marked him as a delinquent of sorts. Yet the magical aura and pressure radiating from him were overwhelming. He was clearly no ordinary student. Rix's instincts told him this guy was on par with Rudel. To think another student of such caliber existed, it was shocking. The other was a female student. Her long, unkempt black hair was loosely tied at the nape of her neck. Her features were refined, but her lack of adornment and disheveled robe gave her a careless, almost reclusive air. Faced with the aggressive male student, she seemed flustered and unreliable. I came here all excited when I heard the Dardrick Magic Tournament was back, only to find the event's prestige has fallen so low that ignorant commoners like you think they can join. What a disgrace, the male student sneered. What, it's everyone's right to participate. Thud, the male student's fist slammed mercilessly into the female student's stomach. She clutched her abdomen, her face contorted in pain. The male student grabbed her by the collar, hoisting her up to glare at her, her feet dangling off the ground. You've got some nerve talking back to an upperclassman, first year. Don't you know who I am? I don't know, who are you? Crack, another fist sank into her stomach. Gah. Fine, I'll engrave it into your ignorant skull. Yet another punch drove into her abdomen. Gah. I'm Guy Grolel, third year of the Red class, heir to the prestigious Grolel family. Once more his fist struck her stomach relentlessly. J. Grow Lyle. Have you carved it into your soul? Good, now die. Remember my name in the next life. Let me educate you, ignorant fool. The Dardrick Magic Tournament is a sacred rite for all mages, not something a lowly scum like you should dare to defile. With that one-sided declaration, the male student, third-year guy, drew a wand from his pocket and aimed it at the female student's face. Immense magical energy began gathering at its tip when... Stop it. Rix leapt between Guy and the female student. What were you about to do? That could have killed her. So what if she dies? One or two pieces of lowly trash like her mean nothing, Guy said, sneering coldly at Rix, who stood protectively in front of the girl. Oh, and you, who dares interfere with me, Rix Frestat, is it? You know me. Of course I do. A magicless parasite clinging to the prestigious Astoria Magic Academy. The non-mage scum I despise most. And my little brother owes you quite a bit, doesn't he? Your brother owes me. Rick stared intently at Guy. The violent features, vaguely familiar, triggered a sudden flash of memory. You're that Goblin Grolel's older brother. Not Goblin Gordon, Guy corrected, his temple twitching with irritation. He's a pathetic failure of a brother, but even he's too pitiable for that. And frankly, your blatant malice is a bit much. Are you mocking me? Guy's voice trembled with barely restrained anger. Whatever. I've had a problem with you for a while now, he continued. Is it because I beat up your brother? That's part of it, but a disgrace to our family like him is irrelevant. It's your existence, strutting around as a non-mage in a place like this, that's utterly repulsive and an eyesore. That's all. In that instant, an immense sphere of magical energy unfurled from Guy's body, activating an overwhelming surge of power. The sheer pressure of it dominated the entire area, swallowing everything in its intensity. Guy's very presence weighed down on everyone, rendering all the students in the vicinity frozen in place. Gah, this is a perfect opportunity. Right here, right now, I'll teach you what it means to be a mage with your life as the price. Come on, draw that pathetic sword of yours. As he spoke, Guy began channeling an incomparably greater amount of magical energy into the tip of his wand, aimed at Rix. That's enough. Suddenly, 4 students surrounded Guy from all sides. Rootil, Harold, Liz, and Ramai, the student council members already selected as representatives for the Dardrick Magic Tournament, widely regarded as the Academy's strongest. The selection trials haven't even started yet. Private duels are strictly forbidden, Rootil warned calmly, pointing her ring-shaped wand at Guy. Geez, what a guy. Back off. Harold, Liz, and Ramai each brandished their wands, keeping Guy in check. Surely, even Guy would have to back down when surrounded by these 4, or so everyone present thought. Back off, back off. Guy glared at the 4 encircling him. Me, Guy Grolel, you think I would back down before the likes of you? By whose authority? Why should I, Guy Grolel, heed the words of weaklings like you? In fact, in that moment, Guy raised his wand skyward, and a ferocious bolt of lightning struck. His body crackled with intense electricity, searing the surroundings in a blinding white light. Know your place, you filth. Weaklings like you don't get to order me around. Guy's murderous intent crashed down on Rootil and the others. The sheer force of his killing aura forced Rootil and the others to react instinctively. They had no choice but to act. Their instincts screamed that if they didn't move, they would die. Rudel unleashed a wave of freezing energy from her ring-shaped wand. Damn it! Harold played his organ-shaped wand, instantly summoning high-ranking spirits of the four elements, fire, earth, water, and wind, around himself. Liz opened her book-shaped wand, its pages scattering into the air, forming countless swords that hovered midair, each brimming with various curses, magical energies, and abilities. Stop! Ramai drove her dagger-shaped wand into the ground, rapidly deploying a binding barrier beneath Guy's feet. Each of the four spells was a display of masterful skill, as expected of the Academy's strongest, chosen by the roster of the Unicorn Goddess. Surely, no one could withstand such transcendent magic from all four at once. Everyone present imagined Guy crumpling to the ground in the next moment. Pathetic, Guy slammed his fist into the earth. A thunderous impact shook the ground, accompanied by a deafening roar. The immense lightning surging from his fist exploded outward, scattering in all directions, and in that instant, it bared its fangs at Rudel and the others. A single blow, Guy's lightning magic with a shockwave, neutralized the spells cast by the four, brushing them aside as if they were nothing. Gah! The impact sent the four stumbling back slightly. True, they hadn't unleashed their full power, but they had put considerable effort into their spells. To have them swept away by Guy alone left Rudel and the others wide-eyed in shock. His power was that overwhelming, absolute. Is that all you've got? I thought you'd have more backbone being chosen over me, but you're too weak to even bother crushing, Guy said, glaring down at the four. By the way, why are you lot here? Rudel responded to Guy's domineering question. This is the selection trial to choose the final member to fight alongside us in the Dardrick Magic Tournament. Isn't it only natural we'd come to observe the participants? How pathetic, Guy spat. The Dardrick Magic Tournament exists for my glory. Extras like you are irrelevant. Why were weaklings like you chosen by the roster of the Unicorn Goddess over me? Is it outdated and broken? Or did you cheat? That's impossible. The roster of the Unicorn Goddess is managed by an authority higher than the Student Council. We have no way to interfere, Rudel replied. Whatever, the truth doesn't matter. Justice is proven through strength. You'll soon realize your mistake, grovel before me, and bow. With that contemptuous remark, Guy lowered his wand. The tension gripping Rudel and the others eased. HMPH, I'll let you four live. You're the lackeys who will serve me in the Dardrick Magic Tournament. But you, Rix Frestat, I'll kill you during the selection trials, without fail. With that, Guy turned and walked away. That guy's bad news. HMPH, is he really just a student like us? Randy and Seraphina watched Guy's retreating figure with maximum wariness. Likely, everyone present was certain of one thing. Guy Grolel would surely claim the fifth representative spot. Some students, intimidated by Guy, even began withdrawing from the trials on the spot. Now, everyone, the first selection trial will begin shortly. Please prepare accordingly, Rudel and the student council members called out, calming the restless crowd. Phew! As the tension in the air dissipated, Rix let out a sigh of relief. No one had been hurt, which allowed him to relax. Hey. A voice called out from behind Rix. It was the timid-looking female student Guy had been harassing earlier. Thanks for helping me out, Rix, right? The guy everyone's been talking about lately. Rix turned and looked at her closely. She lacked any adornment and was far from fashionable. Her sloppy, unkempt attire made her seem unhealthy at first glance, but her complexion and skin were vibrant. On closer inspection, she was actually quite cute. And you are? Oh, right, I'm Ria Noctis, a first year in the blue class. I've always admired the Dardrick Magic Tournament, where top young mages from the three great nations compete. So I decided to take a shot at the representative selection trials, though I know I probably don't stand a chance. But why not? Anyway, thanks again for saving me from that scary upperclassman. That was terrifying. Ria smiled warmly, but Rix waved it off with a gentle grin. Nah, don't worry about it. I wasn't really saving you. I was saving him. He might have ended up dead otherwise. Rix pointed clearly at Guy's shrinking figure. Haha, I don't quite get what you mean, Rix. I mean, you're stronger than him, right? Rix tilted his head, looking at Ria with a puzzled expression. Ria maintained her warm smile, falling silent, as Rix continued oblivious to the mood. If someone died and they canceled the trials, that'd be a problem. Good thing it all settled down before it came to that. Wait, hold on. Does that mean to become a representative, I'd have to beat you? No way, this just turned into an impossible game. I don't want to get expelled. As Rix began to make a scene, Rhea hurriedly cut in. Wait, hold on, Rix. You think I'm strong? I'm pretty sure my magic and sphere are among the weakest of everyone here. Indeed, no one in the crowd was paying attention to Rhea. To the students gathered, the greatest obstacle and threat was unmistakably Guy alone. His overwhelming sphere and magical power drew every eye. But, yeah, I think you're insanely strong. Honestly, I'm baffled why the roster of the Unicorn Goddess didn't pick you. It's head-scratching levels of weird. You're awfully confident, why do you think that? Instinct, it's usually spot on. It's kept me alive this long. Rix declared nonchalantly. Rhea looked at him anew, noting his serene, unwavering confidence in his instincts. I'm in trouble, Rhea muttered, scratching her head with a sheepish smile, as if conceding she couldn't fool him. All right, you're right. I'm actually pretty confident in my abilities as a mage. Her earlier timid demeanor vanished, replaced by a bold, defiant smile. Her presence shifted, like a quiet, towering mountain. I have to win these selection trials. I have my reasons I must succeed. I can't afford to lose to anyone here. Got it, makes sense. Everyone here's got their own motives and drive, right? Rhea then fixed Rix with a challenging gaze. There's one student I see as the biggest obstacle to my victory. Guess who? From the way you're talking, it's not Guy-senpai, is it? Of course not, that obstacle is you, Rix. The air between them grew heavy for a moment. Your rumored sword of light, if it's truly the same as the Dawn swordsman's, I can't help but feel threatened. After all, even the greatest mage in history, the demon king of Twilight, fell before that swordsman. Only one person can win these trials. In the end, I'll have to defeat you. Looks that way, and I'll have to defeat you too. Exactly. Let's both fight fair and square with no regrets, Rix. With that, Rhea turned on her heel and walked away. As Rix watched her go, Shino approached him. What was that about? What were you two talking about? You seemed awfully chummy, do you know her? For some reason, Shino's tone carried a hint of sulkiness as she spoke. Rix, hands clasped behind his head, grinned. Nah, just thinking this isn't gonna be easy. It's getting interesting, that's all. To Shino's puzzled head tilt, Rix replied with a cheerful laugh. Chapter 3. The First Selection Trial. After a tumultuous face-off that promised nothing but chaos, the time for the first selection trial finally arrived. On a platform set up in one corner of the magical arena, a certain instructor appeared and began explaining the rules of the first trial. I am Darwin Streak, overseeing the proceedings of the first selection trial. Without further ado, I'll explain the trial's format, Darwin declared before the attentive crowd. Everyone, fight it out right here. That's all. The familiar-sounding rule left the entire group in stunned silence for a long moment. Don't mess with us. Eventually, they united in a collective roar of protest. What kind of reckless, irresponsible battle royale is that? Take this seriously. That's way too sloppy. You think you can accurately judge our abilities in such a chaotic mess? The crowd erupted in defiance, but Darwin dismissed them with a gaze and tone colder than absolute zero. As expected, you lot are nothing but brainless slugs, utterly ignorant, he scoffed. Don't you understand the purpose of this selection trial? It's to determine the final representative for the prestigious Dardrick Magic Tournament. In other words, we need an overwhelmingly powerful individual to carry the name of the Astoria Magic Academy. Someone who can stand shoulder to shoulder with Rudel Astoria, Harold Trevor, Liz Lapel, and Ramai Riohart. If you can't prove your strength stands out among this rabble, do you seriously think you're fit to be a representative? Well, indeed, those four could likely shine even in such a chaotic battle. The seemingly absurd rule made a certain sense, leaving the crowd silenced. Yet, in the hush that fell over the group, Darwin continued. That said, among the dull pebbles in this crowd, there might be a speck of diamond dust, barely usable, hidden somewhere. To ensure we don't overlook such potential finalists, I'll set some finer rules. I'm generous, you see. Look up generosity in the dictionary 1,000,000 times. The thought crossed every mind in unison as Darwin proceeded with the rules. The participants will be divided into 4 groups. This division will be done by lottery, completely random. Each group will compete in a battle royale within a field segmented by barriers. The last one standing in each group advances. So only 4 would move forward. It didn't feel much kinder, but a battle royale with a smaller group was certainly more manageable than facing everyone at once. Moreover, a battle royale meant unpredictability. Strength alone wouldn't guarantee victory, luck and strategy would play a role. This trial would test strength, luck, and cunning. The judges for each group will be Rudel Astoria, Harold Trevor, Liz Lapel, and Ramai Riohart. They have full discretion over the match proceedings. Direct any questions to them. That's all. With terrifying brevity, the critical rule explanation concluded. Leaving the bewildered participants behind, Darwin pressed on. Now, we'll begin the group lottery. When your name is called, come forward to draw. Darwin's gaze fell on a rotary lottery device. Turning the handle would dispense a small ball marked with either A, B, C, or D, determining the group. The device was imbued with anti-magic safeguards, ensuring no possibility of cheating. One by one, nearly 100 participants were called according to the roster, drawing their lots. Well then, will it be a demon or a snake that comes up? As they awaited their turn, Randy, trembling with nervous anticipation, spoke to Rix. The group you end up in could make or break your fate here. Yeah, but in the end, only one person gets to be the representative, right? It's just a matter of sooner or later, Rix replied. Even so, I really don't want to face a monster like Guy-senpai right off the bat, Randy said, pale and shaking. What's with the cowardice? Alfred, who had somehow joined Rix and Randy, interjected. A mage's prowess lies not only in magical skill, but more importantly, in mental fortitude. With that weak attitude, you'll never seize the opportunities you could grasp. No, but come on, you saw Guy-senpai's magic and sphere earlier, right? That guy's a legit monster. He's not even a student anymore. Huh. Has your edge been dulled from hanging around soft non-mages like Rix? Alfred said, pushing up his glasses haughtily. I told you to stop associating with non-mages. Magic and spheres aren't the absolute measure of a mage's strength. If I end up in the same group as Guy Grauleil, I'll take him down. Though, with a 1 in 4 chance, it's more likely I won't be in his group. Ha ha ha. Alfred, that's a massive defeat flag, Rick said. Shut up. As the trio bantered, a sudden uproar erupted from the lottery device. What's that? They looked to see Guy, the subject of their conversation, drawing his lot. Group D, HMPH. Doesn't matter where I end up, I'll slaughter them all, Guy muttered, rolling the ball marked with D in his hand, his expression bored. Around him, the scene was a pandemonium of despair. It's over. Damn it. First trial and I'm already out. Forget losing, will I even make it out alive? Thank goodness, I'm not in Guy's group. Someone please trade with me. Rix and Randy watched the chaos with deadpan expressions. Yikes, Guy-senpai's in D. I haven't drawn yet, but I really don't want D, Randy muttered. Same here. I've got expulsion on the line, so I'd rather avoid clashing with him right away. In the mercenary world, the saying goes, know your enemy and know yourself, and you will not be imperiled in 100 battles. That's the basics. Really? From what you've said, I thought mercenaries were just reckless lunatics fighting for pocket change, screaming hi-ya-ha on the battlefield. Some are like that, but those types die off fast. In the end, the ones who survive are the ones who live by, know your enemy and know yourself. That's a harsher reason than I expected. And after knowing your enemy and yourself, we mercenaries scream hi-ya-ha for pocket change. There's no saving you guys, Randy sighed. By the way, Alfred, didn't you already draw your lot? Which group are you in? At Randy's question, Alfred stiffly turned, showing the ball he'd drawn earlier. It was marked D. The three fell into a heavy silence. We didn't hang out much, but you were a good guy, Alfred, Rick said. Yeah, I won't forget. There was a guy named Alfred Lordstone at this academy, Randy added. Hey, wait. Why are you acting like I'm about to die? Well, I mean, come on, Rick said. Yeah, all I can say is my condolences, Randy added. Shut up, who do you think I am? Alfred barked at their pitying gazes. I'm from the prestigious Lordstone family of mages. Family names don't make up for the gap in strength. Why do you always get the worst matchups? As Rix and Randy looked at him with pity, Alfred snapped back. Quiet. A mage's battle isn't decided until it's fought. I admit Guy Grauleil is a formidable opponent, but what's wrong with taking him down? I, Alfred Lordstone, have plenty of trump cards as a mage. With those, defeating Guy Grauleil will be child's play. Just watch. By the end of this first trial, the name Alfred Lordstone will resound throughout the academy. Ha 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 ha. With that, Alfred let out a forced, hollow laugh and stormed off. As they watched him go, Randy turned to Rix. Hey, Rix. What's up? Alfred, if he fights Guy-senpai, can he win? He'll lose, Rix replied instantly. Based on what? Instinct. Oh. Randy understood everything from that single word. Soon enough, Rix and Randy's names were called. Their turn to draw from the lottery device had finally arrived. Let's do this. Yeah. Section, Rix, which group did you get? A, Rix said, showing his lot after the draw. Nice, that's good. I got B. I'm relieved to be in a different group from Guy-senpai for now, Randy said. Yeah, Rix agreed. But then, oh, Randy, you're in Group B. Same as me, came a voice. Karen, the senior from Randy's duel club, approached gracefully, showing them the lot she'd drawn. Sure enough, it was marked B. Karen-senpai, you're in Group B. Yes. As always, please go easy on me, Randy, Karen said with a refined, gentle smile. Rix, sorry, man, I'm done for in the first trial. You keep going, Randy said, slumping his shoulders with a sigh and patting Rix on the back. Is Karen-senpai that strong? Oh, yeah, she's strong. She looks like a proper lady from a good family, but don't let that fool you, she's strong as a demon. Since joining the duel club, I've fought her dozens of times and never won once. Ahem. Rix glanced back and forth between Randy and Karen. Then, he muttered, I think you've got a shot, just a hunch. I appreciate your vote of confidence, but this time your hunch is off. No way, Randy scoffed. I don't think so. You've been getting pretty strong lately, you know, Rix countered. You don't know how strong Karen-senpai is, so you can just toss out stuff like. As Randy grumbled at Rix's words, Karen interjected, casting a sidelong glance at Rix. Foo-foo, Rix, you're even more impressive than I imagined, she said. Randy, he's right. The chance of you beating me, it's not entirely zero. Wait, seriously, Randy blinked. Yes. Lately, when we spar, you've been giving me chills at times. As your duel club senior, I find it very promising. That said, what you lack is confidence. Though given the monsters surrounding you, that's understandable, Karen added with a refined smile. Well, now that you mention it, yeah. Randy's mind drifted to the faces of Rix, Shino, Seraphina, Tran, Rudil, and Alfred. And Rix, Karen continued, turning to him, this selection trial is filled with formidable opponents, but you're undoubtedly one of the biggest walls to overcome. Really? I think you're overestimating me, Rix replied with a sheepish grin. Are you sure? Either way, I look forward to facing you. Now, Randy, let's head to the Group B arena together. Oh, why yeah, senpai. See ya, Rix. Good luck. With that, Randy followed Karen to the Group B arena. All right, then. Guess I'd better head to my arena too, Rix said, watching them go before making his way to the Group A arena. Section. Somehow, I had a feeling. Just a hunch, Rix said. Wow, Rix, that was a quick reunion, Rhea replied with a grin. As Rix waited in the Group A arena, he ran into Rhea, who playfully showed him her lottery ball marked with A. You right off the bat, honestly not thrilled, Rix muttered. Hey, that's my line. Why'd you have to end up in my group? Rhea pouted, her lips pursed in mock frustration. But the fifth representative slot goes to just one person in the end. We'd have to face each other eventually. It's just a matter of sooner or later. I'm going all out, you know. Same here, Rix shot back, meeting Rhea's challenging gaze with one of his own. Well, I'd love to compete with you fair and square, but this situation's a bit complicated, Rhea said, her tone turning bitter. Complicated? Yeah, it's a battle royale, so everyone except you is an enemy. That means all sorts of strategies and developments can unfold. Rix nodded, grasping her point. True. The strongest ones will likely be targeted first, and some might hold back to conserve energy until the end. While you're fighting one opponent, someone else could jump in with a sneak attack. Exactly. The tricky part of a battle royale is that strength doesn't guarantee victory, Rhea said, glancing around. Several students in the Group A arena were stealing glances at Rix, their wariness and hostility barely concealed. Guy-senpai seems like more trouble than you might think, Rhea continued. It looks like a good number of his lackeys are mixed in among the participants. And since Guy-senpai's got his eye on you, they'll probably gang up on you. Ahem. So it's like a guerrilla war where it's hard to tell friend from foe. Tricky situation, Rix mused. A battle royale meant the lines between allies and enemies would shift like a raging current in real time. So I have a proposal, Rhea said, a sly smile curling her lips. How about we team up? Just until it's down to you and me. We work together to take out the others, then settle it one-on-one. What do you think? It'd reduce the risk of accidents for both of us. That's a great idea, Rix exclaimed, clapping his hands. Right, if we team up, we're guaranteed to make it to the end. Totally, no doubt about it. All right, it's settled. We team up until it's just the two of us. Rhea extended her hand eagerly, but... Nope, sorry, I'll pass. Smack, Rix, still smiling, lightly swatted her hand away. W8 what, after all that? I thought this would totally benefit both of us, Rhea stammered. You act all innocent, but you're a real mage through and through, aren't you? Rix said. What do you mean? What's to stop you from betraying me before it gets to that one-on-one? Rhea froze at Rix's remark, then fidgeted, pressing her index fingers together and looking away nervously. It's a promise, so I'd keep it. Plus, maybe I'm overthinking it, but you feel the most threatened by me, don't you? If anything, it'd make more sense for you to team up with someone else to take me out. Why would you want to team up with me? And you're awfully fixated on a one-on-one scenario. That means you've got some kind of trump card that gives you confidence in a duel against me, right? Just a hunch. It's a tricky situation, sure, but I've got my own plans, so I'll pass on your offer. Rix, you're way more troublesome than I expected, Rhea said, sighing in resignation with a wry smile. I heard you were a perennial underachiever, a muscle-brained idiot, but when it comes to fighting, your mind's razor-sharp. Why'd I have to face someone like you in the first round? As Rhea lamented, hands clasped behind her head, a new voice chimed in. My, already getting a taste of Rixgun's charm, are we, Rhea? Rudel appeared, smiling serenely. Rudel-senpai, what are you doing here? Rix asked. I'm the referee overseeing Group A's match, Rudel replied gently. Rhea clung to her, whining, Rudel, Rix won't fall for my tricks. Oh dear, I told you, didn't I? This one doesn't play by your rules, Rudel said, her cheerful smile unwavering as she firmly pushed Rhea's head away. You two know each other? Rix asked. Yes, we have a personal acquaintance, Rudel answered calmly. By the way, I'm sure you've heard, but Rixgun, you're in quite a precarious position right now. You mean Guy-senpai's lackeys? Yes. Guy Graulal's followers are all formidable in their own right. They'll likely coordinate to take you down. Plus, you're a bit of a celebrity. Rhea Noctis isn't the only one who sees you as a threat. At Rudel's words, Rix glanced around and noticed the other students sneaking looks at him. Their intent was clear. Everyone wanted to eliminate the unpredictable wildcard that was Rix first. He was completely cornered. What to do? As Rix pondered, Rudel turned to him directly. Rixgun, as Rudel Astoria, I personally hope you'll come out on top. Senpai. W8, what about me? Rhea cried, teary-eyed. What about me? Ignoring Rhea's outburst, Rudel continued. Your Sword of Light is incomplete. But if you can perfect it, you'll be our strongest trump card for the Astoria Academy in the Dardric Magic Tournament. Hey, what about me? Why not me, Rudel? I'm counting on you. Do your best, Rudel said to Rix with a smile, completely ignoring Rhea. That's just cruel, hey. Brushing off Rhea's tearful protests, Rudel walked away. Rhea, does Rudel-senpai kinda hate you? Rix asked. You think so too. I've been getting that vibe, Rhea wailed, frantically scratching her head in shock. Anyway, Rudel might not have any faith in me, but I've got my own goals I won't give up on. Even if I'm called a coward, I'll use every trick and situation to beat you and win. Be ready. I'm ready for you, Rix replied. Their gazes clashed, sparks practically flying between them. Section. Finally, the time for the first selection trial arrived. The students, divided into groups A, B, C, and D, gathered in their respective arenas as the starting bell rang. In response, the sounds of chanted spells and clashing battles began to echo across the arenas. All right, Rix said, casually stretching his legs while surveying his surroundings. The arena was a flat area enclosed by a circular barrier. Touching the barrier resulted in a sharp zap, making it impossible to leave. Leaving the barrier by any means would result in disqualification. Inside the barrier, about 20 other participants stood alongside Rix. In some arenas, the action had erupted immediately, with fierce battles unfolding, but Group A seemed filled with cautious types. Everyone kept their distance, sizing each other up warily. However, one thing they all had in common. They're all on guard against me. Why? Every student in the arena was watching Rix, waiting for his first move, looking for an opening. The moment he acted, they were ready to respond. Their intent was clear. What did I even do? All I did was fend off Instructor Anna, a top-tier mage, take down Gordon and Gerald, powered up by a Demon King artifact, subdue Tran, the rampaging ancient dragon, and defeat Rudel Senpai, wielding prayer magic. That's it. Rick sighed at the dire situation. Hey, you're that first year, Rick's Frestat, right? 3 upperclassmen approached Rick's confidently, surrounding him from the front and both sides. And you seniors are. No need to bother with names. Too much hassle, one said. Yeah, there's no point in you knowing our names, another added. They were noticeably hostile and aggressive. Here's the deal, you crossed Gaisan. Sorry, but you're gonna have to die. Yup, accidents in a mage's match. No consequences whatsoever. Don't take it personally. It's your fault for defying Gaisan. With that one-sided declaration, the 3 upperclassmen drew their wands and aimed at Rix. Each deployed their sphere, dominating the area and building up magical energy. They're strong. Though Rix couldn't directly sense their spheres, their demeanor told him these 3 were no mere talkers. They were formidable. And then, the situation shifted. Taking advantage of the trio's move, other students began deploying their spheres and charging their magic. If Rix showed any weakness while facing these 3, others would seize the chance to strike. Before he knew it, Rix was caught in the overlapping domains of every student's sphere. They had complete control over his every move. It was as if he were bound head to toe in chains, utterly immobilized. The sole exception, Chiria, that girl. Rix shot a sidelong glare at Ria, who was subtly suppressing her magic and sphere to the bare minimum, skulking in a corner. To everyone else, she looked unmistakably weak, drawing no attention. It was clear she planned to lay low until the situation favored her. Despite her cute face, she was cunning to the core. Still, this was a battle royale where alliances, betrayals, ambushes, and backstabs were all fair game. There was no room for complaints. It's over. Our sphere domains have you completely pinned, one of the seniors sneered. And we know all about your rumored Sword of Light. You can't use it without that Shino White Knight girl, right? Do you get what that means? Without a sphere or magic, you're helpless, another taunted. Man, how did a weakling like you cause all that chaos until now? The third senior scoffed, clearly underwhelmed. The 3 seniors advanced as Rix backed away, their confidence unshaken. The other students, eyeing an opportunity to capitalize, seemed to share their sentiment. Having so easily trapped Rix within their sphere domains, securing what, in a mage's battle, was a guaranteed victory, they appeared almost perplexed by how simple it had been. All right then, die. Certain of their triumph, the 3 seniors brandished their wands, unleashing torrents of explosive flames, lightning, and ice storms toward Rix without mercy. Seizing the moment, other students joined in, hurling countless attack spells at him. A massive explosion erupted. The barrage of violent magical energy sent shockwaves rippling in all directions. But, what? No way. He's gone, he vanished. Rix had disappeared. In an instant, he dissipated like mist, leaving no trace. Naturally, none of the spells had hit him. No one felt the telltale feedback of a strike within their sphere domains. Rix hadn't taken a single hit. No, where is he? Where'd he go? This can't be. We've got this entire area locked down with our spheres. There's no way he could escape our perception. At that moment, a voice came from behind the trio. I've been thinking a lot about how to fight mages without magic, Rix said. Mages are kinda unfair, you know. You deploy your sphere and can perfectly perceive everything and everyone within it. A non-mage's movements are completely exposed. The 3 whipped around toward Rix's voice. Ga-wah. There stood Rix, restraining one of the participants from behind, his arm locked around their neck. But that only applies within your own sphere, right? In other words, it's not so easy to track someone in another mage's sphere domain. The trio realized why Rix had vanished from their perception. He had hidden within another mage's sphere domain, You little. One of the trio fired a bolt of lightning at Rix and the student he was restraining. The ferocious lightning surged toward them, aiming to strike them down, but whoop! Rix tightened his grip, knocking out the student he held, and slipped away. The lightning exploded. Using the shockwave as cover, Rix darted into another student's sphere domain. He delivered a swift chop to their neck, knocking them out, then immediately moved to the next student. Once again, he hid within their sphere domain. When Rix's movements couldn't be tracked through sphere perception, the students were forced to rely on their eyes to follow him. And that meant tracking Rix's monstrous speed and physical prowess. The arena descended into chaos. This was a battle royale. Though it seemed like everyone was targeting Rix, they weren't united or coordinated. If someone dropped their sphere, it might make tracking Rix easier, but that would leave them vulnerable to others. No one dared lower their sphere. In this open field, it was as if they were fighting in a dense forest riddled with blind spots. Using his exceptional physical abilities, Rix darted from one student's sphere to another at blinding speed. Damn it. Move, I can't see. You're in the way, drop your sphere. Where is he? Where'd he go? While the three seniors shouted in frustration, Rix systematically knocked out participants with precise strikes. But as students fell one by one, Rix's hiding spots dwindled. The remaining mages' fields of vision began to clear. Got you. Debuff him, hit him with curses. Stop him. Finally catching sight of Rix, the seniors unleashed a barrage of curses to weaken his strength and slow his speed. This was the greatest reason non-mages couldn't beat mages. Without a sphere for defense, non-mages were utterly vulnerable to curses. But it's not working. Why? Rix's overwhelming physical prowess didn't falter in the slightest. The curses had been cast, so why? The seniors' confusion was cut short. Ralag. Rix swung the flat of his sword with ferocious force, sending the trio flying toward the ceiling, their minds blanked by the impact. Thud, thud, thud. As Rix held his stance, the sound of the three seniors and other students collapsing to the ground echoed in succession. The defeated, now incapacitated, were teleported out of the barrier by Rudol's magic as the referee. Before long, only Rix and Rhea remained in the arena. Well, I still can't use magic at all, but I'm getting pretty strong, huh? Despite the overwhelming numbers disadvantage. Despite the non-mage versus mage odds stacked against him. Without even using his sword of light, Rix had effortlessly turned the tables. He glanced around, speaking nonchalantly. But I kinda want a non-combat job in the future, so getting too strong might be pointless. As Rix pondered his future seriously, Rhea, who had been lurking until now, approached slowly. You're growing with every fight. Just like the Dawn swordsman, she said. You're the bearer of a unique sphere, ego, right? Through the experiences you've accumulated at this academy, your ego is rapidly awakening. Rhea, Rix blinked. She continued, speaking fluently. Your ego, a highly unique sphere, doesn't extend outward like ours. It's tightly self-contained within you. That means we can only perceive your surface movements through our spheres, not the inner workings protected by your ego. Your intentions are unreadable. When mages fight non-mages, our spheres let us know exactly how they've moved and how they'll move. But against you, we can see what you've done, but not what you'll do. Your ego, condensed internally at high density, is undoubtedly the strongest sphere in terms of resilience. No mage in this world can surpass your sphere's strength. In a mage's battle, it's a clash of spheres. Victory goes to the one who dominates and suppresses the other's sphere. So, while you can't win by dominating other spheres, you also can't lose to suppression. Thus, most debuffs and curses that interfere with your inner self have little effect on you, though mental control spells might have a slim chance, depending on the caster's skill, since they target your mind directly, bypassing ego. That aside, to beat you, one has to overpower you purely through combat skill, without relying on sphere support. Haha, you're a true mage killer. I'm relieved you haven't fully mastered your sword of light yet. Rix studied Rhea's sudden loquaciousness. Her expression was complex, a mix of exhilaration at witnessing something extraordinary and bitterness at facing something immensely troublesome. And, Rhea, you sure know a lot about me, Rix said, posing a question. I don't know anything about my own origins. All I know is that I was a will-less killing puppet, picked up by Captain Black in the Endyard Forest in the east. Do you know something about me? No, nothing like that, Rhea replied. My explanation is just general knowledge about the Dawn swordsman who wielded the Sword of Light. Anyone who looks into it could figure that out. People who take an interest in the Dawn swordsman usually have something up their sleeve, Rick said. So, what's your agenda? At Rick's question, Rhea flashed a mischievous smile. That doesn't matter, does it? Shall we get started, one-on-one? With that, Rhea drew a staff from nowhere and aimed it at Rick's. Rhea's staff was a large, two-handed type, rare among modern mages, but favored by ancient ones. As she deployed her sphere and charged her magic, Rick's skin prickled under the weight of her presence, her pressure, her magical energy. The radiant glow of Rhea's magic cast a long, expansive shadow. Her presence was overwhelming. Everyone in the arena turned to stare at Rhea's sudden, giant-like aura. Even non-participating students in the stands and those engaged in fierce battles in other groups paused, unable to look away from her. What is she? She's dangerous. No way, where was she hiding until now? The stands erupted in commotion. What is that girl? Seraphina, watching Rick's and Randy's matches from the stands, was no exception to the shock. Incredible, unbelievable. What a monster lurking in the shadows, Annie said, covering her mouth with wide eyes, while Shino clicked her tongue in frustration. I thought Rick's, with his awakening ego, would breeze through the first trial, but maybe I should have given him my lifeline, Shino muttered. Shino-san, that'd be against the rules, wouldn't it? The trials are about individual strength, Annie said. Your mother hen tendencies are getting worse, Seraphina added. Amid their banter, Tran was trembling, shrinking back. Face pale and clutching their head, Tran seemed desperate to hide from Rhea. What's wrong, Tran? Shino asked. Scary, so scary. I don't know why, but Tran's terrified of her. My soul and instincts are screaming. I can't fight that girl. Tran's fear was anything but ordinary. Tran's true form is an ancient dragon, the reincarnation of the world's mightiest creature. Even though their power to dominate nature is suppressed in a human body, to terrify Tran like this, Shino swallowed hard. And this magic, this sphere, it feels familiar. Where did I? Shino couldn't shake the feeling that she recognized Rhea's magic and sphere. But she couldn't pinpoint the source of that memory. Could it be from when I was the Demon King of Twilight, back in the Age of Legends? No, that's impossible, but she looked at Rhea again, staring intently at Rhea Noctis, a first year in the blue class, as she faced Rick's, relentlessly amplifying her sphere and magical power. To think such a formidable talent had been hiding among their peers, concealing her strength until now, it was unthinkable to Shino. A complete dark horse. Shino hadn't even known such a student existed until this selection trial. Rhea Noctis, who are you? Section, so that's your true power, Rick said, slowly readying his sword as he addressed Rhea. My true power? That's not quite accurate, but sure, let's say it's my true power for now, Rhea replied with a cryptic phrasing, smirking confidently as she aimed her staff at Rick's. Trouble is, that means you've got even more up your sleeve. Not exactly. It's hard to explain, so let's leave it at that. More importantly, are you okay with this, Rick's? With what? This situation. You were wary of facing me one-on-one, yet you let it come to this so easily. Wouldn't it have been better for you to keep the chaos of a multi-way melee, dragging me into it? Well, about that, Rick said, scratching his head. You're right that avoiding a one-on-one with you would have been safer, but the scheming and maneuvering of a battle royale got annoying, so I cleared the field. I didn't want to overthink it. I just wanted to face you head-on, one-on-one, and go all out. That's some confidence, Rhea remarked. It's not really confidence, it's just more fun this way, right? Probably. You're a really interesting guy, Rick's. Scarily so, Rhea said with a grin. In the next instant, countless unidentified black slashes surged toward Rick's from all directions. Black slashes, undoubtedly some form of Rhea's magic. Reacting instinctively, Rick's leaped sideways, dodging the barrage of black slashes. The spot where he'd stood half a moment ago was shredded by the onslaught. A thunderous impact. Dust rose and the ground quaked. It was as if countless bottomless chasms had been carved into the arena. I get why you said you'd have the advantage in a one-on-one, Rick said, landing at a distance, his voice tinged with wary awe. Your power, it's too strong, isn't it? Exactly, Rhea replied, twirling her great staff and aiming it at Rix again. For certain reasons, I still can't control my power well. If I use my magic normally, it'd leave people incapacitated, or worse, dead. That's not something I want on my conscience, even for the sake of winning. So I have to hold back, a lot. It's either overwhelming destruction or barely anything at all. That's all I've got right now. That means I might lose if I can't go all out. At Ria's words, Rix glanced around. Her black slash magic had scarred the vast arena like a spider's web. Indeed, in the chaotic melee with multiple students earlier, unleashing this mysterious black slash magic would have turned the field into a slaughterhouse. You're about the only one who can survive my full power magic without fatal injury, Rix. That's why I wanted this one-on-one situation, Ria said. I see. Fair enough, Rix muttered. In that moment, a crack appeared in the barrier wall behind him. Crash, the barrier separating the arena shattered into countless fragments, scattering into nothingness. Though the magical formula in place quickly rebuilt the barrier, everyone knew its durability. Even Guy, among the strongest participants, couldn't scratch it. That Ria had shattered it so effortlessly left the entire arena stunned and murmuring. Her power was on another level entirely. That's insane power and precision. What are those black slashes? Where are they coming from? Rix asked. Who knows? Take a guess, Ria teased with a provocative, challenging smile. Before we get serious, one last question. Any chance you'll surrender? Rix's response was to charge at Ria, sword held low at his waist, its tip radiating pure killing intent. It seemed Ria's overwhelming power had ignited Rix's warrior instincts as a swordsman. That's the spirit, Ria said, a feral grin spreading across her face as she spun her great staff and unleashed another black slash. Section. Haya. Rix struck first. His swift, flowing swordplay rained down on Ria like a storm. A vertical slash transitioned into a horizontal sweep. A full swing shifted into an upward cut, then a reversal. Aggressive assaults blended with fluid deflections. Ever-changing, unbound, blending strength and finesse, Rix aimed to overwhelm Ria with relentless precision. But Ria, with a slight flick of her staff, she conjured mysterious black slashes around herself, intercepting Rix's onslaught. Countless black slashes materialized from the void, blocking, parrying, and deflecting his flurry of strikes. Steel clashed against black, sparks flaring and fading. Though Ria was clearly a mage, not a swordsman, the battle resembled a duel between master swordsmen, their blades dancing in a deadly performance. Not bad, Rix. You're strong, Ria said, sweat beading on her brow as she unleashed 3 black slashes in rapid succession, high, mid, low. The black flashes sliced through the air, countering Rix's ferocious assault. Each strike was punctuated by a stomp that shook the ground. Normally, a steel sword like yours would be cut in half by my slashes, but your ego is on another level, Ria remarked, thrusting her staff forward. A black piercing strike shot toward Rix's throat at blinding speed. Rix deflected it with the flat of his sword, stepping in closer. A screeching metallic sound rang out, accompanied by a shower of sparks. The concept of a sword has become part of your ego. Destroying something you recognize as a sword in your grip is incredibly difficult, Ria explained. Parrying the black pierce, Rix used the momentum to swing upward, slashing back instantly. Ria conjured 2 black slashes overhead, blocking and repelling Rix's double counterstrike. Metal clanged. Shockwaves erupted, sparks flying. The clashing sword pressures sought escape, swirling around them and blasting outward in all directions. Without pausing his assault, Rix spoke. So, basically, anything I hold as a sword becomes super tough and sharp, like a legendary blade. Pretty much, Ria confirmed. Nice, that's handy. On the battlefield, weapons are your lifeline, but they're also consumables. Weapon costs add up fast. For a mercenary, this is. He stopped mid-sentence. No, that's not it. Rix shouted, as if rejecting his own words, and swung his sword in a wide horizontal arc. He forcefully deflected Ria's triple spinning slashes. A thunderous impact. Ria leaped back, creating distance. I'm going to live a life free of fighting. I'll marry a cute wife, be surrounded by grandkids, and die in bed. I don't need this ability. I can't get excited about it. It'll just lead to dying on the battlefield. Haha, I think it's a bit late for that, Ria teased, landing lightly. Shut up. Anyway, let's get back to those black slashes. Is that your magic? Yup, slash magic. I can project magical slashes to cut anything within my sphere's range, Rhea said. Slash. As if to demonstrate, Rhea unleashed countless black slashes, instantly carving deep gashes into the ground around her. The heavy impact made the earth tremble and quake. What incredible power, Rix muttered. Yeah, not to brag, but the power's insane. Against most mages, defenses are practically useless. I can slice right through shield magic, Rhea replied. As Rix cautiously backed away, sword raised, gauging the distance, Rhea approached with the casual stride of someone on a stroll. Won't you surrender? You might be a top-tier swordsman, but my slashes outmatch you in power, number, and reach. Your only chance was to defeat me in a chaotic melee where I'd hesitate to unleash my full slashes for fear of collateral damage. You've got no shot now, Rhea said. No way, Rick shot back, a defiant grin spreading across his face as he adjusted his sword stance. Since coming to this academy, I've studied a bit about magic, and it's not as all-powerful as I thought. Rhea tilted her head. Magic's about equivalent exchange. To gain something, you lose something. You can't just create limitless power from nothing. Overly powerful magic always comes with some kind of limitation or cost. For example, Shino's gravity magic manipulated the existing force of gravity in the environment. It required advanced control, but could produce power beyond its mana cost, high efficiency for its strength. Seraphina's fire magic was straightforwardly powerful, but demanded immense energy. She managed it with her vast magical reserves, high power, low efficiency. In short, your magic's too efficient, Rix continued. For its power, it feels like you're barely consuming any magical energy. Yet it gives off this invincible, all-purpose vibe. Also, Seraphina mentioned that controlling your own magic is relatively easy since it originates from you. Makes sense. But your control over this magic isn't very precise. It seems to require highly advanced skill. So, like Shino's gravity magic, I think you're using some kind of environmental something. You keep trying to make me think it's just slash magic, so I'm betting the true nature of that something you're using is my key to victory. You're really troublesome, Rhea said, her smile cold as she moved her staff. Once again, countless black slashes surged toward Rix from all directions. The battle between Rix and Rhea dragged on. 10 minutes, 20-30, the match stretched endlessly. The other groups had long since concluded, but Rix had no room to care. His instincts and reflexes drove his sword relentlessly. A triple speed slash, high, mid, low, 3 piercing black thrusts. A whirling 6-strike sword dance. Black slashes flew from the void, assaulting Rix in rapid succession. As the fight wore on, Rix was forced into a defensive struggle. He danced frantically, parrying the black slashes without pause. Sorry, but I'm not giving you time to think. I'm ending this, Rhea declared. Gah. Rix desperately fended off Rhea's relentless barrage of slashes. This is weird. Magic isn't supposed to fire this fast. He knew this from fighting countless mages. Casting a spell required a moment to regroup, a breath to focus, channel mana, and direct it through the magical formula within the sphere to manifest the spell's effect. Whether chanting was needed or not, this routine was universal, even for exceptional mages like Shino, Seraphina, or Rudel. What is it? What's she using for these slashes? It's gotta be something in the environment. As Rix's mind raced, parrying Rhea's onslaught, he noticed something. Weird. With slashes coming from every direction, why hasn't a single one come from behind? He'd been on guard for it, confident he could block an attack from behind, but none came. It was almost anticlimactic. There had to be a trick here. What is it? Something that exists in front of me but not behind me? What could it be? As Rix pondered, his instincts screamed, no, that's not it. It's deliberate. For an attack that ignores range, not striking from behind is odd. A third-rate swordsman's strike from behind surpasses a master's frontal assault. Backstabs are that powerful. A mage like Rhea would have built that into her magic from the start. The answer's simple. She's choosing not to. Why? Because it's her trump card, her killing blow, but using it would reveal her magic's true nature. It had to be something present both in front of and behind Rix. That was the key to her magic. Just as Rix zeroed in on a possibility. It's over, Rix. I've completely read you as a swordsman, Rhea shouted, raising her staff. Countless black slashes surged forth, far more than before. Gah! Rix frantically parried the overwhelming onslaught. Rhea had likely been testing him, gauging how many slashes he could handle. This barrage exceeded his limits, leaving no room for counterattacks. She was moving to end the fight. And that was Rix's greatest opportunity. Here it comes. The moment Rix was certain, a black slash shot from behind at blinding speed. Haya! Rix dove sideways, dodging it, just as he'd predicted. In that split second, his peripheral vision caught the slash's origin. He had fully unraveled the true nature of Rhea's magic. The slashes are. His combat instincts instantly formulated a countermeasure. What? Rhea, stunned that her killing blow had been dodged, froze for a moment. Seizing the opening, Rix rolled across the ground, pulling a small orb from his sleeve. He struck it against his sword's blade, sparking it to ignite, and hurled it upward with his rolling momentum. Pop! The orb exploded overhead, bathing the arena in blinding light. It was a flash orb, a signaling tool Rix often used as a mercenary. As the intense light seared the field, Rix charged straight at Rhea. A reckless assault. Such a straightforward charge was practically begging to be shredded by Rhea's slashes. Rhea raised her staff to intercept. Everyone watching held their breath, thinking it wouldn't work. The flash orb had caught her off guard, but that was it. Rix would lose. But, before anyone realized, Rhea was blocking Rix's sword with her staff. No black slashes had appeared. Rhea's pale face betrayed how narrowly she'd avoided disaster. GRR. Rhea gritted her teeth, pushing Rix back with her staff. A black shape rose like a specter from her feet, lunging at Rix. Whoosh, Rix didn't press the attack, instantly retreating to create distance. Scraping the ground with his boots, he declared, "The true nature of your black slashes is shadows." Rhea's eyes widened, her body tensing at Rix's proclamation. That's right, your magic isn't about firing slashes. That's just a fraction of its function. The real nature of your magic is manipulating shadows within your sphere domain. You reshape shadows to interact with the world. You extend your own shadow into thin lines across the area, manipulating them to form slashes. A closer look revealed faint, nearly imperceptible lines of shadow stretching from Rhea's shadow in all directions. That's why slashes only came from in front of me. You could have used my shadow to strike from behind, but doing so up close risked me noticing the trick. To avoid detection, you only attacked from the front until you were certain of a killing blow. But that backfired. No way, you figured it out from something so small, Rhea stammered. Once I knew your magic manipulates shadows, it was simple. Shadows vanish under intense light. The moment I used the flash orb, your shadow magic was sealed. And that led to the current situation. Woo-oh. The crowd, which had been watching with bated breath, erupted into cheers. Amazing. That was insane. What a magic battle. That Rhea girl's incredible. Shadow manipulation, isn't that? Yeah, the lost magic mastered by Shadow Master Hale, the strongest of Demon King of Twilight Shenora's followers in the Age of Legends. Using a legendary magic like that, unreal. And Rix holding his own against it. He's unreal too. The crowd showered Rix and Rhea with thunderous applause and praise for their breathtaking duel. What in the world? To think such a peer was lurking unnoticed among us all this time. The legendary lost magic, Shadow Veils, where did Rhea-san learn it? The shock extended to Seraphina and the others in the stands. Over time, standout students inevitably became the subject of rumors, but Rhea had been completely off the radar. Her sudden emergence as a monstrous talent was like a sucker punch to the head. Yet, amid the crowd's awe and admiration, that magic, Shino alone, she stared at Rhea, locked in fierce combat with Rix with sharp vigilance and hostility. No way, that girl. Section. As the stands roared with excitement, Rhea spoke, keeping a cautious distance from Rix with a self-deprecating mutter. My magic, it's incredibly powerful, but shadows have many weaknesses. That's why I wanted to keep its nature and mechanics hidden, passing it off as simple magic, for future battles too. But I guess I can't afford that luxury anymore. Rhea. Sorry, Rix. This might be a bit unfair, but I'm playing my trump card. With a sly smile, Rhea spun her staff and chanted. The world sinks into shadow, and thou art consumed by darkness. In that instant, every hair on Rix's body stood on end. a sensation of terror and despair he'd felt countless times since arriving at the academy. The ultimate technique mages unleashed in critical moments, their trump card. The moment it was completed, defeat was certain, a conviction etched into his soul. If Rhea completes this magic, I'll lose, no, I'll die. His instincts, honed through countless battles as a seasoned mercenary, spurred him into action. He had to defeat Rhea before she finished her spell. Hyla. Rix lunged, closing the distance in a flash and swinging his sword like lightning. But Rhea's shadow writhed, forming a wall between them, blocking his strike. The hesitation lasted only a moment. Rix grabbed another flash orb, igniting it with a spark from his sword. He detonated it to erase the shadow. But this shadow didn't vanish. Even in the blinding light, it held its form. Useless, Rix, Rhea said with a smirk. It's different now that I'm not hiding my magic's nature. The essence of a shadow is the mirrored aspect of oneself, another you. Think a cheap light like that can erase me. Erasing my shadow now, that's what it would take. As she spoke, Rhea's magical energy surged higher, higher, higher. All things return to shadow. The balance of yin and yang crumbles, and the lightless prison seals this moment. My shadow becomes a maelstrom, a void of captivity. Gah! Knowing it was futile, Rix pressed his attack. Every strike was thwarted by the writhing shadows at Rhea's feet. Rix, surrender now, Rhea said, her voice filtering through gaps in the layered shadow walls. This magic doesn't allow for holding back. You'll die. Ugh. I'm serious. I will compete in the Dardrick Magic Tournament, no matter the cost, no matter who condemns me. Don't hold it against me, okay? She's serious. Rix saw it in Rhea's eyes. She was prepared to kill him to win. Rix. Shino and Seraphina, sensing the same, shouted from the stands. Listen, you've lost, forfeit. Give up, she's too much. That magic, it's bad news. His friends desperately urged him to withdraw, to abandon the fight. Rix's mercenary instincts, his swordsman's senses, every fiber of his being screamed to retreat. He felt visceral fear for his life. But, in that moment, Rix's heart was strangely calm. He turned to his friends, a faint smile curling his lips. Rix, what's he? Rix lightly stepped back from Rhea, her magic still surging, and created distance. Then he slowly sheathed his sword, shifting to a half stance. In that instant, now darkness devour, burial realm. Rhea's shadow exploded outward, spreading like an inky sea, then surged upward. Rix was completely engulfed, his vision swallowed by absolute blackness, as if painted over with ink. Checkmate, Rix. In the lightless void, Rhea's voice echoed directly in his mind. My magic controls shadows, you get it right. In the heart of a shadow world, I hold your life in my hands. Ugh. At this point, I can do anything to you. Slice you apart, crush you, twist you. Still won't surrender. Ugh. Rix remained silent, offering no response. His silence told Rhea of his refusal. What a shame, Rix, to have to kill someone like you. At least I'll make it quick and painless. As Rhea declared this, and moved to manipulate the all-encompassing shadow. A radiant silver sort of light cleaved her shadow world in two. What? In an instant, the shadows blanketing the world shattered like glass, dissolving into nothingness. Everyone stared, wide-eyed. Before anyone realized, Rix's sword was pressed against Rhea's neck. If you're playing your trump card, I'll play mine, Rix said, smiling at the stunned Rhea. What? Rix, you used the sword of light without my lifeline. In the stands, Shino gaped in shock. He did it, Seraphina shouted, clenching her fists in excitement. The radiant silver of dawn, he's finally mastered it. That's right, he seemed to grasp something during that incident with Rudel. It's been a while since then, so a feat like this is within his reach. Gah, I want him as my subordinate even more now. HMPH, to wield the sword of light without my lifeline, without abandoning his humanity, fine, I'll give you credit, Shino said, turning away with a complex expression. Haha, Shino-san, you're like a mom sad her kid's grown up and left the nest, Annie teased. What? That's not it. Amid his friend's commotion, Rix spoke to Rhea. You know, I used to hate this sword of light. It felt like a symbol of me being a killing puppet, so I only used it reluctantly, abandoning the Rix in me. Ugh. But coming to this academy, meeting all sorts of people, I realized something. Living is a battle. Ugh. I came here thinking becoming a mage would mean a peaceful, happy life, but that's not how it works. Everyone's fighting for their own goals, for better or worse, giving it their all. That's right, living earnestly. Commoners, mercenaries, mages, we all fight daily to survive. The only difference is the form and intensity of the battle. So, this sword of light that kept me alive, maybe I don't need to hate it. The killing puppet I was, the me now, they're all undeniably me. Ugh. I don't know what path I'll take in the future. But the sword of light has protected the precious things I've gained at this academy, and it'll keep protecting them. There's no need to reject it. A change of heart, maybe? Once I thought that way, even without Shino's lifeline, without abandoning my humanity, I started seeing light at the tip of my sword. Weird, right? Then, it's probably because your ego, no, because your own heart has grown, Ria said, breaking her silence with a clear, gentle laugh. Ria. Clang, Ria released her staff, raising both hands, and declared, I surrender. You win, Rix. In that moment, woo. The crowd erupted as the match finally concluded. Amid the roaring cheers, Ria slumped her shoulders with a sigh. Man, I made this big, mysterious entrance, but I kinda flopped, huh? Don't sweat it. Just a hunch, but your magic's got more potential, right? Well, yeah, sounds like sour grapes, but sure, Ria said with a wry smile. I still don't have the mana or sphere control to fully master this magic, but that's just an excuse. Now I get it. That's why you had to rely on those tricks, right? Rix sheathed his sword, hands behind his head, grinning. But man, having such advanced magical skill, but not enough mana or sphere control to keep up, you're kinda like Shino, huh? Ugh. Ria fell silent for a moment at Rix's offhand remark. Huh, what's that supposed to mean? She asked, tilting her head curiously. W.O., nothing at all, Rix stammered, frantically waving his hands to cover his slip. Anyway, sorry. I bet you had your own goals and passion for the Dardrick Magic Tournament. Haha, don't worry about it. If thou desirest, fuel the desires of others in the furnace. That's a mage's creed, right? You won for your own purpose. That's all. Guess so, that makes me feel a bit better. I mean, I felt this intense will from you, like you were determined to beat me. Well, yeah, Ria replied playfully, with a short, mischievous quip. As she turned to leave. I really wanted to take you out here, she muttered under her breath, leaving an unsettling, cryptic remark behind. Chapter 4, Victory Celebration. Somewhere within Astoria Magic Academy, a clandestine chamber, the stronghold of our prayer faction, one of the comrades gathered there posed a question to me. This time, we've entrusted everything to you, but having observed him up close, what's your assessment? Dangerous. I delivered my candid evaluation, based on what I'd seen with my own eyes and felt on my skin. Rix Frestat, he's approaching the Dawn Swordsman far beyond our expectations. We must deal with him immediately. If not, he will inevitably stand in our way. My words stirred unrest among the gathered comrades. Damn it, as we feared. A mere puppet. Curse him. An elder of the prayer faction stroked his chin and spoke. I see, so it's all unfolding as you foresaw. I nodded silently in affirmation. Trouble is, if he's awakening as the Dawn Swordsman, his interference with our plans is all but guaranteed. Negotiation or persuasion won't work. After all, that's how he was made. The room grew even more agitated. What, are we to abandon this once-in-a-millennium opportunity? Damn it, curse that wretched Dawn Swordsman. But, no issue, I declared with unwavering certainty. Why such confidence? The Dawn Swordsman is the natural enemy of the Demon King of Twilight, and by extension, of prayer magic. Isn't that true? You, of all people, should know this best. Correct. However, that applies only to the Sword of Light wielded by the Dawn Swordsman. What does that mean? Exactly what I said. Rix Frestat is indeed approaching the Dawn Swordsman, but approaching is not the same as becoming. He is not the Dawn Swordsman, nor will he ever become the Dawn Swordsman. He is, after all, nothing but a puppet. I see, the Dawn Swordsman's of light is unique and inimitable, and Rix Frestat's soul is, at best, a pale imitation, a counterfeit. Precisely. In truth, I witnessed his sword of light, radiant with the silver of dawn, up close, but frankly, it was underwhelming. It lacked the pressure it once carried. If you say so, that's encouraging. That said, counterfeit or not, a sword of light is still a sword of light. A miraculous feat that transcends the laws of the world. As we advance our plans, we must exercise the utmost caution. So, what then? Our observation phase is over. Next, we eliminate Rix Frestat with certainty. With that declaration, I snapped my fingers, and the darkness lingering in the void warped the space around us. I reached into the distortion, pulling something from the shadows, a human skull. Well now, that's one of the finest Demon King artifacts in our possession. You're truly serious using that. Indeed, in the second selection trial, we will ensure Rix Frestat's death. Section. And so, I'll lead the toast. Holding a cup of juice, Seraphina stood before the group. The setting was Astoria Magic Academy's student cafeteria. A corner of the table was claimed, laden with snacks and drinks for a modest party. To Rix and the others' success in passing the first selection trial, cheers. Cheers! At Seraphina's call, everyone clinked their cups together. Well done, Rix, I knew you'd pull it off, Seraphina beamed. Congratulations, Rixgun, Annie added. You're the man, Aniki, Tran cheered. Haha, thanks, everyone, Rix said, smiling bashfully. But you held your own too, Randy. That's worthy of praise, Seraphina said, winking at him. Well, about that, I've got a bone to pick with that jerk Darwin, Randy said, heaving a heavy sigh. If they were gonna let runners-up qualify as alternates, they should have said so from the start. Everyone exchanged awkward glances, silently agreeing. As it turned out, after the battle royals concluded, Darwin had announced the first selection trials qualifiers. Naturally, the final victors of each group were selected, but several eliminated students were also chosen. The criterion: the referee students of each group, Rutil, Harold, Liz, and Ramai, arbitrarily selected students they deemed promising based on their own judgment. Randy hadn't won his group's battle royale, but Harold had picked him up, allowing him to advance to the second selection trial. I said the last one standing would advance, but I never said everyone else would be eliminated. My foot. That guy seriously always pulling stuff like this, Randy ranted. Yeah, I get it. Calm down, Randy, Rick said, patting his shoulder soothingly. I've got plenty to say about Darwin myself, Seraphina said, but putting that aside, nice fight, Randy. Yeah, I was shocked. You've gotten really strong, Randy-kun, Annie added. Blushing, Randy scratched his cheek and looked away. Really? Felt like I was just getting pummeled by Karen-senpai the whole time. Karen's specialty was pure physical enhancement magic. Her mastery was beyond student level, and her skill as an exceptional pugilist amplified her strength. Despite her refined, ladylike demeanor, she was a terrifying martial artist. That was Karen Lancaster, the mage. Group B's participants were mostly obliterated by Karen in seconds, Seraphina said. But you lasted till the end, didn't you? Sure, you got thrashed, but you clung on, never giving up, aiming for a comeback. That gritty determination probably earned you points. You're giving me too much credit. I'm just used to her strength from sparring in the duel club, Randy muttered, still looking dissatisfied as he tossed a snack into his mouth and washed it down with juice. Seraphina grinned mischievously at his reaction. Oh, Randy, don't tell me. You wanted to show off a bit more for Karen, didn't you? What? And no way, that's not it, Randy sputtered. Hey, cute. Deny it all you want, it's written all over your face. Relax. Facing overwhelming odds and still fighting to the end, you looked plenty cool. I bet Karen respects you for it. Shut up, Randy yelled, flustered. Hee hee, the tables have turned, Annie teased, giggling alongside Seraphina. By the way, Alfred, congrats on passing the first trial too, Rick said, turning to Alfred, who was quietly perched at the table's edge. When the victory party was planned, Rix had dragged him along. You didn't take the final victory, just picked up by a referee, but surviving Guy-senpai's Group D? That's incredible. You're really something, Alfred. Alfred. I am of House Lodestone. I won't back down. I am of House Lodestone. I won't back down. I am of House Lodestone. I won't back down. I am of House Lodestone. I won't back down. I am of House Lodestone. I won't back down. I am. Alfred stared blankly at the juice in his trembling hands, muttering like a broken phonograph. Hey, Alfred, Rick said, concerned, tapping his shoulder. Eek, Alfred shrieked, leaping up, his face pale. What? Rix, what do you want? Sorry, just wanted to say congrats on passing the first trial. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? I'm from House Lodestone. Passing the first trial is only natural and an unnatural. Suddenly, Alfred's eyes darted around suspiciously, as if sensing something. Arg, the window, the window. Guy's watching me from that window. What? No, he's not. Guy-senpai's not there, Rix said. What the hell happened in Group D? As Rix and Randy gaped at the frantic Alfred, visibly unnerved, well, a lot happened, Serafina said. Yeah, Annie murmured. Both cast sympathetic glances at Alfred. Wanna know? Serafina asked. No thanks, I'd rather not, Randy replied. Yeah, thought so, Annie sighed. What the heck happened to Alfred? Rix wondered, tilting his head. Just then, Anarchy, Tran knows what's up with Alfred, Tran piped up. Huh, what's that? Rix asked. That thing, Anarchy. You know, when a rookie goes to their first battlefield and it's one so brutal even veterans would puke. They always end up like that, that's what it is, Tran explained. Oh, yeah, that makes sense, totally get it. Rix exclaimed, clapping his fist into his palm. That you can just accept that is terrifying, Randy quipped, throwing his usual jab at Rix. For Alfred's honor, I'll say this, Serafina added. It was a gripping match. Everyone else was either too scared of Guy to fight or got obliterated instantly like rags if they dared try. Alfred alone managed to put up a fight until the end. Sure, he looked like he was getting pummeled one-sidedly, so most wouldn't grasp how impressive that was. Man, why does this guy always get the worst opponents? Randy mused. Serafina and Randy turned pitying looks toward Alfred, still trembling from his traumatic episode. Still, Alfred, Randy, Karen-senpai, Guy-senpai, the heavy hitters are moving on, Rix noted. Hey Rix, don't casually lump me in with those monsters, Randy grumbled. Including me, 10 people advanced to the second trial, Rix said, ignoring Randy's half-hearted complaint and glancing across the table. There sat a female student. And you're one of them, Ria. It was only natural. As expected, Ria, who had fought toe-to-toe with Rix in Group A, had also passed the first selection trial. At Rix's invitation, she'd joined the celebration. I still can't believe it, Ria said, scratching her head bashfully. What are you talking about? With your skills, advancing to the second trial's a given, Rix countered. Nah, see, Rudel-senpai doesn't seem to like me much. She was clearly rooting for you to make it to the end, right? So I didn't think she'd pick me up too. Haha, she's a bit scheming, sure, but her judgment's fair. She doesn't play favorites. If you're stronger, she'll choose you. If I'm useless, she'd cut me without hesitation, Rix said with a laugh. As he chuckled, Ria looked down slightly, muttering under her breath. Well, thanks to that, I've got a sliver of a chance to achieve my goal. Ria, did you say something? Rix asked, blinking. Nope, nothing at all, Ria replied, flashing a bright smile and waving her hands. By the way, is it okay for me to be here? She asked. Huh. I mean, this is a celebration for your tight-knit, white-class first-year crew, right? Is it cool for an outsider like me to crash? Outsider? Yeah. I'm in the blue class, even if we're both first years. Rix gave her a gentle smile. You're no outsider. We fought with everything we had. That makes you a friend. What? Ria recoiled, stunned. What kind of logic is that? Even if it was an official match, one wrong move, and either you or I could have died. Exactly, Rix declared, puffing out his chest. Us mercenaries fight for coin, risking our lives. One day, you're fighting alongside someone. The next, they're on the enemy's side. It's common, and dwelling on it's pointless. So it doesn't matter enemy or ally, life or death stakes. As warriors living by the blade, we cross swords with full commitment, give maximum respect, and call each other friends. Who knows when we might face off and kill each other, so why not enjoy today as friends? It's a better deal. Wah, okay, but if you end up facing a friend you've bonded with on the battlefield, what then? Ria pressed. I'd cut them down, why? Rix replied, blinking innocently. Ria recoiled further. Why, aren't they your friend? There's no rule against cutting down a friend. In this line of work, we all know the deal. Cutting down a friend, or being cut down by one, it's part of it. I don't get that mindset, Ria said, her smile twitching. Don't worry. If you did get it, you'd be beyond human, Shino interjected, plopping down beside Rix. Oh, Shino, what's up? Rix asked. You two seem awfully chummy, Shino said, her tone edged with irritation as she glanced between Rix and Ria. Well, yeah, Ria and I went all out trying to kill each other, Rix said cheerfully. Shino's expression soured, and she pinched Rix's thigh hard. Ow, ouch, what was that for, Shino? Rix yelped, tearing up as he glared at her. Shino leaned close to his ear, whispering so Rhea couldn't hear. Rix, be careful around Rhea. What? Rix's eyes widened at her unexpected warning. I don't have proof yet, so I can't say more, but she's dangerous. Don't let your guard down around her, got it? What do you mean by? Rix tried to press for details, but Shino stood, signaling the conversation was over. She moved to leave the celebration. Hey, what's up? Where are you going? Rix called. I've got something to look into, Shino replied. Research, all of a sudden. Yes, it's urgent. What's it about? Need help? No thanks. You'd fall asleep reading anything longer than 3 lines. That's harsh. I'll tell you when I have proof. Just leave it to me. With that, Shino walked away. Weird girl, Rix muttered. He noticed Rhea watching Shino's retreating figure with a cold, detached gaze. What's up, Rhea? Oh, nothing, Rhea said, her expression shifting to a warm smile. Rix. Whoa. Suddenly, Rix's body lurched under a heavy impact. Someone had tackled him, wrapping their arms around him. The culprit was Seraphina. Rix, Seraphina wailed, her voice slurred. Why won't you be mine? I've begged and still. Wah. H-ha. Something was clearly wrong with Seraphina. Her emotions were all over the place. Her face was flushed, tears streaming, her body limp and feverishly warm. There was an undeniable allure to her state, stirring a fleeting flutter in Rix's chest, but her bizarre behavior quickly snuffed it out. Hey, what's wrong? Guys, Seraphina's acting weird. Clinging tightly to him, Seraphina leaned in heavily. Rix looked around for help, but mutter, why am I always so invisible? Sure, everyone else is larger than life, but it's pissing me off. Annie stared into space with dead eyes, mumbling grievances. Oi, what's that, huh? Listen up, I'm the strongest, got it? Back home, I was undefeated. You know how bad I am? I had a pompadour and everything, and I stole veggies from every farm in the neighborhood. Scared yet, if you're scared? Randy, with a vacant stare, rambled on about something painfully embarrassing to the void. Beware hahaha, house lodestone, banzai, Alfred cackled, his voice piercingly manic. What they shared was unfocused eyes and faces flushed red as boiled octopuses. What the hell's going on? Everyone's clearly out of it. Rix exclaimed, struggling to peel off the clingy, limp Seraphina while gaping in shock. What's up with everyone? Tran mused, the only one unaffected, blinking curiously at the scene. In her hand was a cup of juice. Tran sipped it casually, munching on snacks with a crunch. Tran that, Rix said, a realization dawning as he pointed at Tran's drink. Who got that? Tran did. We were throwing a party, so I collected money from everyone and bought snacks and these in town. Tran replied. Rix silently picked up one of the many juice bottles on the table. The label read Ladykiller. Tran. This is booze, Rix shouted. What? Really? It's alcohol? It didn't taste like it at all, Rhea gasped, staring at her own cup. That's the point. It tastes like citrus juice, but it's spiked with insanely strong, tasteless liquor, so you barely notice the alcohol. It's the kind of drink guys with bad intentions use to get girls drunk. Black, our mercenary captain, used it all the time to pick up girls, I'm sure of it. Rix explained. Oh, I drank quite a bit, Rhea said, her cheek twitching as she trembled. So this is booze? But am I supposed to feel drunk? Tran's totally fine, Tran said, tilting his head while chugging more Ladykiller. Even if I drink tons, nothing happens. Honestly, everyone getting all wobbly and mushy from this? Kinda pathetic, Tran added. Of course it doesn't affect you, you're a dragon. You've got the world's strongest poison resistance. Rix groaned, clutching his head. This is bad, drinking on campus, if someone catches us. Dragging the stubbornly clingy Seraphina, Rix tried to salvage the situation. MMPH. Suddenly, Rhea, who'd sidled up, looped her arm around Rix's neck, pulling him close and forcing him to drink. Gack, cough, Rhea, what? Oh, come on, what's done is done, right? Might as well let loose, Rhea said, her voice slurring. Her seductive smile was paired with a flushed face, clearly drunk. Oh, Rhea, you're plastered too, aren't you? Rix ventured. What are you talking about, me drunk? No way. I use detox magic, so I'm fine. Yup, confirmed, you're definitely drunk. Gah, let go. Trapped in Seraphina's iron grip and feeling the alcohol hit him, Rix's strength waned. He couldn't stop Rhea, who gleefully forced more drink on him. Incidentally, Rudel Senpai, whom they'd invited, eventually showed up and gave them all a thorough scolding. Section, what a mess, damn you Tran. Finally free from Rudel Senpai's lecture, they got off with a stern warning, since Tran's ignorance meant it wasn't intentional drinking. After nightfall, Rix wandered the academy grounds aimlessly, trying to cool his still-flushed head. The campus, bustling with students by day, felt like another world at night. Guided by the soft glow of outdoor lamps, Rix roamed, the chirping of night insects clearing his muddled thoughts. Phew, that's better. Time to head back to the dorm. As Rix turned toward the dormitory, he reached the fountain plaza at the campus's center. Sensing someone, he narrowed his eyes. On a bench by the fountain, someone sat, gazing at the night sky. That person was Iria. He'd thought she'd returned to the blue class dorm, yet here she was, lingering. Hey, what are you doing out here? Rix. Noticing his approach, Ria looked up. Under the dim outdoor lamps, shadows danced uneasily across her face. Didn't you go back to the dorm? Haha, I could say the same to you. I'm just taking a walk to sober up. Then I guess I'm doing something similar. They exchanged wry smiles. Passing by to head to his dorm felt empty. He wanted to talk with Ria a bit more. Hey, Ria, mind if I sit? I'll leave if I'm bothering you, Rix offered. Sure, I was kinda in the mood to chat more too, Ria said, smiling warmly. Taking her up on it, Rix plopped down beside her. Ugh. For a while they sat in silence, but it wasn't awkward. A comfortable quiet, a gentle moment flowed between them. Strange. He'd only met Ria today, yet they could share such a time and space. Thinking back, from the moment they met, interacting with Ria felt effortless, almost like they were old friends. Odd, indeed, but not bad. As Rix savored the serene, gentle moment, gazing at the night sky with Ria, Rix, are you enjoying life at the academy? Still staring upward, Ria asked abruptly. What's with the sudden question? Rix tilted his head but kept his eyes on the sky. The starry expanse, like fine silver dust sprinkled on a dark canvas, was breathtaking, almost pulling him in. Just curious. I want to hear it in your words, Ria said. It's fun, Rix answered instantly. Sure, I've got zero talent for magic. It's tough, mostly just tough, but every day's fun. It feels like I'm walking on my own 2 feet. Your own 2 feet, Ria echoed. Not that I could have done it alone, Rix added with a laugh. It's because of everyone. They pushed me, pulled me along. The people I met here, and even my old crew in Black's mercenary band, they're why I'm walking like this. That includes everyone at the academy and Black's gang too. I'm here now because of so many people. Yes. Rix thought back to his origins as a mere killing puppet. Why he'd been that way, he didn't know, but until Black picked him up, he wasn't human, just a puppet. Stop being a puppet. Act human. Those were Black's orders. And at the academy, meeting Shino, Randy, and the others, acting human, it felt like he was becoming more human. Someday, I've gotta thank everyone properly, which means going back to Black's crew too. They'd probably drag me back with them. Their mottos, we welcome all comers and chase deserters to the ends of hell, such a wild bunch. Maybe I'll skip thanking them. Rix muttered half seriously, his eyes narrowing. I'm jealous, Ria said softly. Ria murmured abruptly. Ria. You've been blessed with amazing friends and allies. I'm jealous, Rix. I don't have friends like that, she said, gazing wistfully at the starry sky. No, maybe that's not true. Long ago I had friends like that. But I did something unforgivable to them, something no human should do. I'm a failure as a friend. Since then, I've been alone. I don't deserve to be with anyone. Rix declared firmly, that's not true. Rix, I don't know what you did to those old friends of yours. But that doesn't mean you're unworthy of being with others. And no, but... Look, if we're talking about worthiness, where does that leave me? Between my time as a puppet and as a mercenary, how many people do you think I've killed? But in your case, you had no choice, right? Then the same goes for you, Rix countered. Ria's eyes widened at his words. You regret it now, don't you? But I don't think you're a bad person at heart. If so, didn't you struggle with what you did to your friends? Wasn't it a choice made after agonizing, pushed to the edge? Ugh. Ria fell into a deep silence, and Rix pressed on. Besides, whether you're worthy of being with others doesn't hinge on what you did in the past. Well, it's not completely irrelevant, but it's not the point. What matters is how the people around you feel about you, what they think of you. Otherwise, no one in this world would be worthy of anyone's company. That's true, Rhea conceded. Rix's words carried the simple, undeniable truth. Coming from you, that lightens the weight on my shoulders a bit, Rhea said, her gaze dropping to the ground, a faint smile on her lips. But could I ever have friends like that again? I'm kind of a lone wolf type at heart, she muttered, her voice tinged with doubt. In the next moment, what are you talking about? We're already friends, aren't we? Rix said, blinking innocently. Friends, you and me, Rhea stammered, stunned. Yeah, didn't I say earlier, we went all out against each other. That makes us friends. That wasn't just lip service or a joke. Who'd joke about something like that? But, like you said, even if we're friends, you'd still cut me down if we were enemies, right? Yup. Sorry, Rix admitted. You'd really cut me down, haha, Rhea said, her laugh tinged with unease. Then she muttered under her breath, you're just like him. Huh? Nothing, forget it, Rhea said, shaking her head with a gentle smile. Well, it's a lot to process, but hearing you call me a friend, that means a lot. Glad to hear it. Even if we're in different classes, why not hang with us? I'll pass for now. All I can think about is this selection trial, Rhea said, meeting Rix's eyes directly. I see, you've got some serious reason for needing to compete in the Dardrick Magic Tournament, huh? Yeah, there's someone I have to meet. Someone you need to meet. Rhea stood, facing Rix squarely, her gaze unwavering. If I compete in the Dardrick Magic Tournament as a contestant, I know I'll meet them. And then, she trailed off, glancing at Rix as if wanting to say more. Never mind. Rix tilted his head at her cryptic look. That's intriguing. Sorry, yeah, but there's no point in spilling details. If I told you some grand reason, would you give up on the Dardrick Magic Tournament? Let me beat you on purpose. If so, I'd talk all day. No way, not happening, Rix said flatly. Exactly, you'd cut down even a friend. So there's no point in explaining, Rhea said, smirking boldly. Anyway, I'm going to the Dardrick Magic Tournament for my own purpose, and I'll take you down no matter what. Better not let your guard down. I'll use every trick in the book, fair or foul, to come at you full force. Got it, Rix replied. With that exchange, Rhea turned to leave. See you tomorrow, at the second selection trial. Night, Rix. Yeah. Rest well, Rhea. Rix watched her retreating figure, tinged with a quiet loneliness, until she vanished from sight. Chapter 5, the second selection trial begins. Impossible, this can't be happening, it's absurd. Midnight. Deep within a secluded corner of Astoria Magic Academy's grounds, a dense forest. The raw scars of a fierce magical battle marred the surroundings. Guy-senpai Grolier lay sprawled on the ground, his face twisted with rage and humiliation. I gazed down at him. I had provoked him, lured him to this place, and crushed him, utterly, one-sidedly, overwhelmingly. Even in the darkness, it must be clear. The glint in my eyes as I looked down on Guy was one of calm superiority and scorn. Damn it, me, a Grolier defeated. What are you? Who are you? Weak, pathetically weak. I didn't answer his question, merely stating the cold truth. What? You call me weak. It's the truth, isn't it? You gave everything you had, yet you couldn't even touch me. You didn't come close. He knew my words were true. His fists clenched, trembling as if crushed, as I continued dispassionately. You had potential, the potential to kill Rix Frestat. But what a letdown, I misjudged you completely. At this level, you can't even kill the current Rix, a mere counterfeit Dawn swordsman. What are you talking about? You don't understand. The only truth you need to swallow is your own weakness. No, that's not true. Guy's face contorted into a feral snarl, rejecting my words. I am strong. I must be the strongest. I am a Grolier, destined to stand above all mages. The notion of me being weak is unthinkable. Ignorant and pitiful, I almost feel sympathy. You're blind to your own reality. The phrase, frog in a well, was made for you. Stand. Shall I half-kill you a few more times until you grasp your weakness? With that, I activated my magic. A low, ominous hum. At my feet, a dense shadow began to writhe. Elik. Seeing it, Guy's face paled, his eyes widening as he clutched his head, trembling. I gave a faint, mocking smile. Well, look at that. You do understand, good boy. As I retracted the writhing shadow, Guy's eyes brimmed with tears of frustration and shame. To the thoroughly broken Guy, I spoke gently. No need to cry. Everyone starts weak. Even the demon king of Twilight was once frail. If thou desirest, fuel the desires of others in the furnace. Through humiliation and resentment, effort, training, and plunder, they grow stronger. Shut up, be quiet, silence, Guy roared, lashing out. I produced an object and held it before him, a skull. It pulsed with sinister magical energy, visibly rising in thick, ominous waves. To a spiritual eye, it would resemble an abyss itself. What is that? Guy stammered, recoiling in fear, and rightly so. Such a vile, potent cursed relic shouldn't exist in this world, yet it does. You want to be strong, don't you? Guy's eyes widened at my words. Let's be clear, historically, you're no great vessel. There are always those above you. Endlessly, maddeningly above you. You're moderately gifted, but never destined to be the strongest. That's your talent, your limit. But if you truly wish to become the strongest, take this. Through effort, training, and plunder, climb to the pinnacle of the heavens. With cursed words, I spoke directly to Guy's soul. The words sank deep, resonating like a curse, twisting the core of his being. As proof, I am the strongest, I must be the strongest. His eyes hollow, possessed, Guy reached a trembling hand toward the skull, the Supreme Demon King artifact. Watching him, I smirked faintly. Section, I dream. Lately, I've been seeing someone's memories in my dreams far too often. I'm almost exasperated with myself. But it can't be helped. I relive someone's memories in my dreams. Ugh. A swordsman and a mage clash. The setting feels familiar. A vast, open space like an entrance hall. The decor is different, but the layout is this Astoria Magic Academy. The swordsman is the youth I often see in these dreams. His opponent, the mage, is a woman. Clad in a robe and hood woven from shadow, her face is obscured, but her movements and figure confirm her gender. The swordsman wields his signature radiant silver sword of light, shining like dawn, pressing the mage relentlessly. The mage counters, manipulating her shadow. The swordsman's flurry of sword of light strikes. The mage parries with shadow slashes, blocks with shadow walls, and summons shadow beasts to assail him. The swordsman sweeps his sword of light horizontally, cutting down a horde of shadow beasts, then leaps. He lunges at the mage. Hiya. He swings his sword of light down. Gah. The mage infuses her greatstaff with dense shadow, forming a shadow greatsword. She thrusts it at the oncoming swordsman. A deafening clash. The sword of light shatters the shadow greatsword into fragments. The swordsman and mage lock eyes at close range, their sword and staff clashing in a deadlock. Damn you, monster. Dawn swordsman? The mage spat, glaring. Move, Hale. You know it's over. Your shadow can't match my sword, the swordsman urged. My target is the Demon King of Twilight alone. I don't have time for you. I won't let you. You won't take another step toward Shen-Orasama. The mage snarled, her voice dripping with venom. You're here to kill Shen-Orasama, aren't you? Like the countless mages before you, driven by foolish righteousness and justice. Yes, I'm here to kill the Demon King of Twilight. She must die. You know nothing. You know nothing of what Shen-Orasama carries, what she seeks, what she struggles with, what she grieves, and how she became the Demon King. I know, and I don't care. Whatever her reasons, she committed a sin. A grave, unforgivable sin against this world, against humanity. Sins must be judged. If she must be judged, it's my duty and responsibility for failing to stop her long ago. Liar. You just want revenge. For the dragon, your ally, that she killed. Sadly, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't part of it. In that moment, shadow spread from the mage's feet, engulfing the surroundings. The shadow rose, swallowing everything. The world plunged into an abyss of darkness. I'll protect her. I'll protect Shen-Orasama. Even if she's the enemy of the world, an unforgivable sinner, I'll protect her. Because she's my. But in that instant, a single sword of light cleaved the abyssal darkness in two. Ah! With a shattering sound like breaking glass, the shadow enveloping the world fragmented and vanished. The greatstaff split in half and the mage collapsed to her knees, stunned. It's over. Lower your staff, Hale, the swordsman said, pointing his sword at her. Damn it, why always Shen-Orasama? The mage glared, seething. The swordsman spoke earnestly. Hale, you're mistaken. About what? I came to kill the Demon King of Twilight, but I also came to save her. As her sole vassal, you must know the true identity of the Demon King of Twilight. It's him. Rick stirred, blinking groggily. Sitting up in bed, he scanned his room with a foggy mind. His sparse dorm room in Astoria Magic Academy's white class. Despite months since enrolling, it remained stark, devoid of anything but essentials, a minimalist extreme. Rix lingered, confirming this was indeed his room, then shook off the dream's haze with a stretch. NNNGH. Another weird dream. Ever since coming to this academy, I keep having these strange dreams. Am I okay? He muttered, shaking his head. And it was weird, cut off at the good part. The true identity of the Demon King of Twilight. Isn't that Shino? No clue. Well, a dream's just a dream. No point dwelling on it, and it's not like thinking would change anything. With his usual carefree nature, Rix brushed the dream aside. He wasn't one for overthinking or fixating on details. Generous or careless, broad-minded or sloppy, Rix was Rix. Anyway, I've got bigger things to worry about, he said, stifling a yawn and climbing out of bed. He began preparing for the day. Today's the second selection trial, no idea what it'll be, but with all these tough opponents, I gotta get pumped. A knock came at the door. Yo, Rix, you up? It was Randy. As always, he'd come to walk to the academy together. Yeah, I'm up. Morning, be right there, Rix called, smiling at Randy's reliability. Even as rivals vying for the tournament spot, Randy hadn't changed, a true friend. Rix finished getting ready and headed for the door. Section. So, the meeting spot for the second selection trial is the main building's entrance hall, right? Yup, that's what I heard. But what are we doing in a place like that? As they walked through the campus from the dorms, Rix and Randy chatted. The morning mist lent a refreshing air to the academy grounds. It's big, sure, but it doesn't seem suited for mages competing, Rix mused. HMPH. We'll find out when we get there, Alfred said, adjusting his glasses as he joined them. Whatever the challenge, I'll be the one left standing. Wow, a night's rest brought back your usual arrogance and bravado, huh? Randy teased. That's the Alfred we know, Rix added. Shut up. Be quiet, Alfred snapped at their warm, teasing looks. But how many will pass this second trial? Annie wondered. There's a third trial too, Serafina noted. With 10 students advancing to the second trial, depending on the third trial's format, they might cut us to half or less, Serafina speculated. Aniki, you got this, Tran's cheering for ya, Tran shouted. Thanks, man, Rix grinned, then he paused. Speaking of, where's Shino? Looking around, he noticed Shino wasn't among their usual group. About Shino-san, Annie said hesitantly. She hasn't returned to the dorm since yesterday. The last we saw her was at the first trial's victory party, Serafina added. Huh, really? Rix tilted his head. She said she had research to do, but not coming back all day. That's kinda worrying. I checked just to be safe, Serafina said. No record of her leaving the academy, per the gate logs or permits. She's somewhere on campus. Well, some upperclassmen hole up in the library's underground stacks or their labs for a week straight, Randy said. And it's Shino we're talking about. Unlike us, she's got her act together. One day's nothing to worry about. Unlike Rix or Randy, Shino's reliable, Serafina agreed. I was including you in the unreliable category, Princess, Randy deadpanned. How dare you? Serafina yelped, tearing up. Well, I'm a bit concerned about Shino, but you've got bigger fish to fry, Rix, Serafina said. Yeah, you're right, Rix nodded. He had to win the second trial. And the third, to secure the 5th spot in the Dardrick Magic Tournament. He couldn't afford expulsion. All right, let's do this. Rix clapped his fist into his palm, rekindling his resolve, and strode toward the main building. Section. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The entrance hall, the gathering place for the second selection trials candidates, was abuzz with unusual tension. At the hall center stood the iconic goddess statue, a symbol of the academy. As instructed, Rix, Randy, and the other first trial victors had gathered before it. A crowd of students had also flocked to watch the second trial. But despite the appointed time having passed, the trial's top contender, Gai-senpai Grolier, was nowhere to be seen. What's going on? No way did he forfeit. Rix and Randy exchanged bewildered looks. No, not Gai-senpai. He'd never back down without a fight, Rix said. Guy's unyielding arrogance made abandoning a challenge unthinkable. Scanning the crowd, Rix spotted someone. Rhea stood quietly, ignoring the murmurs around her. Hey, Rhea, Rix called. Yo, Rix, she replied, turning with a gentle smile. Any idea what's up with Guy-senpai? Huh, why me? You just seem oddly calm. Thought you might know something, Rick said, tilting his head to peer at her. Haha, nah, I'm as clueless as you, Ria said, shaking her head with a mischievous grin. Maybe someone ambushed him in the dark. No way, Rick scoffed, as they bantered. HMPH. You two don't get it, Alfred interjected, adjusting his glasses. The reason Guy's absent is obvious, he's terrified of me. Nope, Randy said. Not a chance, Rix added. No way, Ria chimed. Nuh-uh, Tran grunted. Probably not, Annie ventured. Foolish nonsense, Serafina snorted. Gah, you guys are too in sync, damn it, Alfred wailed, teary-eyed under their collective retort. Then, challengers of the second selection trial. Good morning. A booming voice echoed through the entrance hall. Looking up, they saw a figure on the second-floor terrace. Headmaster Jake? The crowd gasped. Indeed, I am Jake. With Mentor Crawford occupied, I'll personally oversee this second selection trial. I'll fulfill my duties to the fullest. Jake's thunderous voice, deafening even in the morning, prompted everyone to cover their ears. And, as of now, any candidate not present is deemed to have forfeited the second trial. This is the final decision of the trial's overseer. The declaration stunned the crowd. It meant Guy-senpai Grolier was out of the second trial. Yes. Without Guy, we've got a shot. Guy's fearsome reputation was evident. Several candidates openly rejoiced, clenching their fists. HMPH, forfeiting here? How anticlimactic. I fell behind in the first trial, but I was set to crush him in a rematch, Alfred boasted. Your pride and bravado are almost impressive at this point, Randy said, more amazed than exasperated. You all have your thoughts. But it's time, let's explain the second selection trial. With a dramatic flourish of his robe, Jake surveyed the crowd. The second trial is a traditional test for selecting Astoria's Dardric Magic Tournament representatives, Dungeon Exploration. D-Dungeon Exploration. The unexpected challenge left everyone dumbfounded. A dungeon, where's that supposed to be? You're all wondering, I'll tell you. The dungeon you'll explore is right before your eyes. Jake pointed at the goddess statue in the hall center. What? No way. The secret chamber. Rix and Randy exchanged glances, a spark of realization. Correct, some of you guessed it. This goddess statue is the entrance to the Academy's underside, the secret chamber. A vast dungeon on the astral plane relative to the material world. It's sealed due to its dangers, but for this trial, we'll unseal it. Jake raised his staff, chanting. Before their eyes, magical energy infused the statue, and an invisible barrier shattered, its sound echoing. All set. Touch the statue, and you'll be transported to the Academy's most perilous dungeon. Now, the rules. Jake stowed his staff, facing the candidates solemnly. As stated, the second trial is dungeon exploration. The dungeon is filled with deadly magical beasts, traps, and mechanisms to thwart explorers. Overcome them and reach the deepest level. There, you'll find a token. Those who retrieve a token will pass the second trial, in order of acquisition. No restrictions on methods, that's all. So, first come, first served, Randy muttered, nodding. Dungeon exploration isn't just about strength. It demands courage, wit, knowledge, even luck. It's a test of overall ability. Perfect for selecting tournament contenders. I'm screwed, courage sure, but wit and knowledge? Rix groaned. Aniki's kinda unlucky too, huh? Tran teased. Please, Tran, not now, Rix sighed. With these rules, a strength-focused guy like you might struggle. The question is, how many will pass? Randy mused. Another shared his concern. I have a question, Headmaster, Karen-senpai said, raising her hand. How many tokens are at the deepest level? Jake answered with booming confidence. All of them. Why? The unexpected reply drew skeptical looks. Meaning, anyone who reaches the deepest level and retrieves a token advances to the final trial. What's the point of that? Feels kinda meaningless. Candidates grumbled, but there is meaning. Figure it out yourselves, Jake bellowed, silencing them. In 10 minutes we begin the second trial. Prepare yourselves, that's all. Abruptly ending his explanation, Jake left the candidates bewildered. Randy, what do you think? Rix asked. It's tricky, Randy said, scratching his head. With enough tokens for everyone, cooperating maximizes our chances. The dungeon's probably designed with that in mind. Then let's team up Randy. It's not that simple. There's a final trial after this, and only one gets picked. We don't know what the final trial entails, but it might prioritize raw strength. So, some might want to eliminate rivals here, where trickery's easier. It's human nature. Teaming up risks betrayal or backstabbing. It's a dungeon built for cooperation, yet the rules encourage conflict. That's why it's tricky. True to Randy's words, tension crackled among the candidates. Rhea, who declared war on Rix last night, stared at him intently. Others, aware of Rix's prowess from the first trial, eyed him warily. It was deeply uncomfortable. "What do I do, Randy?" "I'm surrounded by enemies," Rix whispered. "Man, tough being a big shot like you, unlike a random underdog like me," Randy teased. Total bystander mode. But he wasn't wrong, as the candidates murmured among themselves. "Time's up. Second trial participants, are you ready?" The second selection trial begins now. When your name is called, touch the goddess statue and dive into the dungeon. With Jake's proclamation, the second trial commenced. Section. Meanwhile, darkness swirled in the air. The coalescing shadows warped space, forming a gate that opened. A man stumbled through. The man guy surveyed his surroundings. A labyrinth of winding passages, chambers, and corridors stretched endlessly. According to that woman, this was the secret chamber, the dungeon for today's second trial. Normally, the goddess statue in the entrance hall was the only entrance. No one but trial participants should be here. Yet she had shown Guy this hidden entry. A secret route from the former Security Enforcement Division's secret chamber base, unknown even to the Academy. How she knew it was a mystery. But it didn't matter. Nothing mattered to Guy anymore. "I am the strongest." He drew the skull she had given him, staring into it. Its vile magical energy oozed, polluting the air and Guy himself. If the corruption continued, the consequences would be irreversible. Yet, it felt good. Power surged. Holding the skull, Guy's soul and instincts screamed that he was ascending as a mage. Each moment, he neared the pinnacle of history's greatest mage. "I am the strongest." With deranged eyes, devoid of sanity, Guy began to move. Radiating overwhelming dark magic, chilling the air to freezing, distorting space, he walked. He was the strongest. Now he had to prove it. The students in this dungeon were the Academy's elite. Killing them all would be the perfect start to proving his supremacy. "Yes, I am the strongest." No longer human, a twisted something in human form, Guy prowled the dungeon, hunting for trophies to mark his dominance. Chapter 6. Dungeon Conquest. A sensation of floating, dizziness, and warped direction. The world blurred, losing shape. Then, the wavering reality snapped back into focus. Rick stood within the dungeon. Moss-covered stone walls, floors, and ceilings formed a corridor. Pillars lined the walls. The passage stretched endlessly ahead, branching into countless corners, crossroads, stairways, and galleries. Wide paths and high ceilings eased any claustrophobia. Yet the labyrinth's bewildering complexity pressed on Rick's with an otherworldly weight. Crystal-like magical lights, spaced evenly, dimly banished the darkness. Beyond the absence of natural light, an eerie, malevolent atmosphere permeated the air, stale and chilling. A forbidden abyss, never meant for human trespass. "So this is the Academy's dungeon. Kinda looks like a castle," Rix muttered, calmly surveying his surroundings. "Participants get randomly teleported somewhere inside, huh?" Minutes after his arrival, no other candidates appeared, confirming his guess. "Guess I'm on my own for now. Can I even do this?" Doubt crept in. He had confidence in courage and combat, but when it came to wit and knowledge, he was sorely lacking. Though he'd studied hard since enrolling at Astoria Magic Academy, he questioned whether his skills sufficed for this dungeon. "But I've gotta try. I've been training under Shino to become a mage. I'll do this." Slap! Rick struck both cheeks with his hands. With renewed vigor, he marched deeper into the dungeon. Section. 3 pure killing intents bore down. They took the form of armored warriors. Hollow, animated moving armors brandished swords and spears, charging ferociously. One armor sprinted straight down the corridor, another leapt high, and a third bounded off pillars and walls. The 3 moving armors attacked from all sides. Hiya! Rick sprang into action. He parried the sword of the frontal armor, slicing through its torso. He deflected the spear of the leaping armor, severing its head. He knocked aside the axe of the flanking armor, cutting it down. A lightning-fast exchange, sparks flying, clashing metal echoing. Rix's sword obliterated the three armors in an instant, silencing them. Phew. Lots of magical beasts around, Rix said, sheathing his sword after neutralizing the threat. Since entering the dungeon, he'd frequently encountered these moving armors. Their mechanics were a mystery, but their combat prowess was astonishingly refined. Enhanced by magic, they were unnaturally durable, shrugging off weak attacks. To most students, they'd be insurmountable. But to Rix, they were no challenge. He didn't even need his sword of light for foes like these. If every obstacle was this straightforward, it'd be a breeze, he grumbled, entering a large chamber. At its center loomed a massive pile of mud. What's that? Blinking, he noticed a stone tablet nearby. It read, "Grant him death, and the path shall open." As Rix read the inscription, dark magic surged through the mud pile. The mud writhed, reshaping itself into a towering humanoid figure. I heard about these in class, a golem, right? Rix said, eyeing the giant. The golem raised a fist, slamming it down. Whoa. Rix dodged with a sideways leap. The fist cratered the ground, shaking the chamber. Not exactly friendly, here it comes, the tricky stuff, Rix muttered, retreating to gain distance. There's no exit. Gotta solve the puzzle to move forward, but... Rix leapt. With all his might, he thrust his sword into the golem's left chest. A resounding impact. The strike shattered the chest, scattering mud, but the debris reformed, regenerating instantly. No effect. So grant him death. What does that mean? Dodging the golem's relentless fists, Rix pondered. He needed to kill the golem to proceed. But what was death for a magical construct? Was it even alive biologically? Then he noticed. On the golem's forehead, the word Imath, ancient for truth, was inscribed. A memory flashed, Shino's lesson on ancient languages. Rix, listen. Imath means truth in the ancient tongue. But remove the first E, and it changes. It becomes. That's it, Rix shouted, acting on instinct. He leapt, aiming for the Imath inscription. And ignored it, slashing the golem from left shoulder to right hip with his sword of light, cleaving it in two. The golem's concept shattered, collapsing into sludge as a hidden door at the chamber's rear opened. Imath, ancient for truth. But remove the E, I forgot what it was, so whatever. The sword of light can cut magic, so this works. Yup. Pure brute force. For the record, removing the E from Imath yields meth, death. The puzzle tested magical knowledge, erased the E to stop the golem. But Rix was blissfully unaware. Section. Another puzzle. Before Rix stood a magically sealed door. A tablet read, "Speak the correct passphrase." A complex magic circle adorned the door. Deciphering it to find the passphrase was the only way forward. The passphrase, decode the circle. Rix glared at the intricate design, his expression grim. It was dauntingly complex. He felt like giving up, but without solving it, he couldn't advance. I've studied magic formulas under Shino. I can crack this. With fierce determination, Rix racked his brain. He stared at the circle for a long while. Got it, the passphrase. A sudden epiphany struck, and Rix shouted. It's open sesame. Drawing his sword, he unleashed his sword of light, slicing through the circle and door, blasting them apart. A thunderous roar echoed as a new path appeared. Brute force. Heck, nailed it, Rix smirked, sheathing his sword. Decoding such a tough circle. I'm growing as a mage, probably cry tears of joy. Beaming, Rix pressed on. Of course, the passphrase wasn't open sesame. Shino would have cried for entirely different reasons. Section. Next, Rix faced a chamber with a bottomless abyss for a floor. A tablet read, "Flight is forbidden here. Keep your feet on the ground and tread the unseen path." A barrier blocked flight magic, and an invisible floor existed. To cross, one had to deduce its location from the tablet's cryptic poem. Got it, the answer's here. Rix sprinted, leapt, twisted midair, and landed on the ceiling. Using his momentum, he ran across it. Hiya. Kicking off, he barely reached the far side. Brute force. I figured it out. No flying, stay grounded, it means no jumping to the other side. To think they'd target me specifically with a puzzle like this dungeon's brutal. Completely wrong, but Rix had no clue. Too bad. They underestimated my smarts. If I can't fly, I'll run on the ceiling. Most couldn't, but Rix didn't realize. That's the key, thinking outside the box. Noticing that proves I'm growing as a mage. Not remotely the point, and Rix was evolving further as a warrior, not a mage. Oblivious, he marched on triumphantly. Section: Here lie 100 chests. Open the correct one to find the key to proceed. But beware. The wrong chest unleashes a horror that brings death. The clue to the correct chest is as follows. 100 chests stand silent, guarding the hidden key that slumbers. Yet only one shines before the chosen of fate. Silver waves reflect the wind. Scarlet flowers burn in the night. Star tears melt into amber. Shadow dances draw near the moon. Look closely, choose with your soul. Oh, this one's easy, I got this, Rick said. Click, he opened a chest. Jishaya. The chest sprouted jagged teeth, lunging at him. Boom, Rick smashed the chest, a mimic with his fist. Next. Click, Meshea. Crunch, another mimic crushed. Next. Click, GI. Smash, another mimic pulverized. Next. Click. Shaya. Crash. Ew. Key get. Rix grinned, holding up the key with a smug smile. Around him lay the wreckage of countless chests, 84 mimics, crushed to bits. The surviving 15 trembled in their boxes. Brute force. Section: I am a dragon, guardian of this chamber and beyond, bound by ancient oaths. Puny human, to pass, offer me the secret tribute. 3 types of flames exist in this dungeon. As a mage, unravel their mystery, gather them all, and present them to me. Then I shall yield. Wait, what? You're drawing your sword. You intend to fight me. Are you mad? I'm a dragon. The beast among beasts, apex of nature, far above humans. Foolish human, know your place, Gwaya. Section: Prep work pays off. Good thing I practiced dragon slaying. Bidding farewell to the battered, whimpering dragon, Rick strode onward, brimming with confidence. This dungeon's supposed to test mage knowledge and wit. I thought I'd struggle, but it's pretty easy. Wait, could it be? Am I closer to being a mage than I thought? Not at all. He was veering further from magehood, but Rix was clueless. I thought I'd bomb the second trial, but I might pull this off. Let's keep it up. With boundless enthusiasm, Rix pressed on. Everything was brute force. Section: From a distant chamber, figures watched Rix via far-seeing magic. What is he? He's insane. Is he even human? Leary of Red Class, Year 3, and Sherwood of White Class, Year 3, both renowned candidates and academy powerhouses. All that effort to collect those, wasted, Leary grumbled. In their hands were the 3 flames the dragon demanded. Rix's brute force advance cost them precious time. But that's trivial. The real issue is that Rix Frestat, a White Class first year, is no ordinary foe, Sherwood said. Agreed, we can't let him reach the final trial. He'd be a massive obstacle, Leary replied. We need to eliminate him here. Meaning? Leary and Sherwood exchanged nods. We plan to part ways after gathering the flames, but our alliance continues. Yes, we take down Rix Frestat together. But how? I hate to admit it, but he's strong. A direct fight's risky. Leave it to me. Farseeing magic gave me the dungeon's layout. There's a perfect spot ahead to trap him. As they schemed, tracking Rix's path, it happened. Abruptly, a shadow seeped from the space behind them. The shadow grew, taking form. Slowly, it trailed the oblivious pair. Here's the plan. What do you think? Brilliant, Leary. Right, we don't know the nature of his sword of light, but this strategy leaves a non-mage like him helpless. Victory's ours. The shadow loomed directly behind them. Section: Phew, teaming up with Karen Senpai is a lifesaver, Randy said. In a maze of dungeon corridors, he walked alongside Karen Senpai, whom he'd met by chance. I'm all for it, but are you sure, Karen Senpai? This trial's rules. Yes, as you say, the rules encourage conflict among participants, Karen Senpai replied, smiling gently. But cooperating increases our chances of reaching the third trial. I weighed the benefits of fighting you versus teaming up and chose the latter. Right, I'm no threat to you in the third trial, so partnering here's smarter, It was simple cost-benefit logic. Randy sighed, a bit dejected. Chuckle, Karen Senpai smiled at him. What? Something on my face. No, I just find you intriguing, that's all. Intriguing me? How? Karen Senpai's smile softened. For some reason, men have always avoided me. Those who showed interest, hoping to grow closer through sparring, always left once I challenged them. Sparring is a mage's traditional right, a form of bonding, so why? Have you ever lost to a guy in a spar? Never. Not once. Randy understood why they fled. Karen Senpai's combat style, mastered body enhancement magic, was raw, physical force. Losing to unique magic or superior mana was one thing, gender didn't matter much there. Women often had an edge in mana capacity, making defeat more palatable. But losing to Karen Senpai meant a man was bested by a woman in physical combat. By someone as refined and ladylike as her, no less. Though she used magic, it looked like brute strength. Despite growing gender equality, noble society still harbored men who couldn't stomach such a loss. Their pride drove them away. They couldn't accept defeat to Karen Senpai. But you, Randy, are different. You're the first not to distance yourself after sparring with me. That's why you're intriguing. Yeah, Randy scratched his cheek awkwardly. Since it's obvious, I'll confess, I joined the dueling club hoping to get close to you. Kinda had a crush, sorry. Foo-foo, your honesty is charming, but that makes it even more curious. Well, getting thoroughly trounced by you in tryouts was a blow to my ego, sure. But your fighting style was just so cool. Karen Senpai blinked. You know my crew's full of monsters. No matter how hard I try, I can't catch up. I kept wondering how to close the gap, knowing I'd never win doing the same things they do. I was searching for my ideal mage, then I saw you and had a revelation. That's the mage I want to be. Ugh. That's why I'm still hanging around, trying to catch up to you. Karen Senpai giggled. So you think you can catch up to and surpass me? And no, that's not what I meant. Randy panicked, realizing his words implied disrespect. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. No need to apologize. Having a clear ideal is vital for a mage. Your choice is likely correct. Her kind words only deepened his embarrassment. As it stands, I see you as a cute little brother, but if your feelings don't waver, keep striving. If you surpass me, perhaps my perspective will shift, Karen Senpai said with a playful, devilish smile. Why yes, ma'am. Blushing furiously, Randy clapped his fist to his palm, fired up. Men are simple. As they chatted, oblivious to the trial's stakes, it happened. A sinister shadow oozed from the void ahead. It writhed, taking shape. Senpai. Randy instinctively stepped in front of Karen Senpai. Calm down. What good is standing in front when you're weaker? Sorry. Chastised, Randy retreated behind her. More shadows seeped forth, multiplying. They formed beasts, quadrupeds, birds, reptiles, aquatic horrors. What are those? They're not like the dungeon's beasts. No, could they be? Chaos beasts. Why are astral plane monsters here? Karen Senpai said. The pair was surrounded. Impossible is a prayer magic user in this dungeon? Randy gasped. No idea. Either way, stay sharp. Get ready, we're breaking through, Karen Senpai said, assuming a boxing stance. Her body surged with mana, body enhancement magic, fully activated. Shaya. The chaos beasts lunged en masse. Section. Alfred unleashed a torrent of flames from his staff. The overwhelming blaze incinerated the chaos beasts attacking from all sides. HMPH. Pathetic, he sneered, adjusting his glasses as the beasts vanished. Wow, Alfred-kun, you're really strong, Rhea clapped behind him. They'd met by chance and, being acquaintances, agreed to team up temporarily. But what's going on? These aren't dungeon beasts. Someone summoned them. Who? Alfred wondered. Dunno, maybe some kind of glitch, Rhea said casually. More chaos beasts approached. Damn it, they're endless. This is beyond the trial now. We need to escape. Rhea, I hate to say it, but I need your help. Let's. Alfred turned, but. Rhea. She'd vanished like smoke. Where'd she go in this mess? And damn it, I'm alone again. As Alfred lamented, the chaos beasts surged toward him mercilessly. Section. What in blazes is this? Seraphina's cry echoed through the entrance hall. Magical crystals projected countless images overhead, live feeds of the dungeon, allowing spectators to watch the trial. But every image was overrun with chaos beasts. The trial was clearly derailed. What's happening? Those are astral plane monsters. This is no small matter. Headmaster Jake, stop the trial now. Seraphina shouted, searching for Jake. He was gone. Where'd he go at a time like this? Without a supervisor, panic rippled through the students, escalating into chaos. Then, silence. A clear, commanding voice stilled the crowd. Rudel Senpai, Astoria Magic Academy's Student Council President. Rudel Senpai. Seraphina, you're right, this is an emergency. There's no time to waste. The Student Council will take charge. By my authority, We're launching a rescue operation for the trial participants. Rudel Senpai turned to her team. Harold, Liz, Remy, ready. Of course, President, Harold replied. The council's elite among the Academy's strongest sprang into action. Wait, Rudel Senpai, I'm going too, Serafina declared. Tran's in, I'm worried about Aniki. Tran said, hefting his battle axe. I'll help, I'm not great at fighting, but I'm good with healing magic. Annie stammered, mustering courage. Serafina and Tran-san, your strength is welcome. Annie-san, support roles are vital. Thank you, Rudel Senpai said, accepting their aid. Anyone else willing to help? A few brave students raised their hands. Thank you all, Rudel Senpai said, bowing. She approached the goddess statue, chanting a spell. I'm disabling the random teleport function. Everyone ready? We're heading in to rescue them. Yes. Led by Rudel Senpai, the student rescue team dove into the dungeon. Section. What the hell? Rick slashed through swarms of chaos beasts, racing through the dungeon. Their presence means a prayer magic users here. Who? Why? Too many unknowns. Why this sudden chaos? What was the goal? Doesn't matter, I'll save everyone. Problem is, where am I? Rix was utterly lost. He could only follow his instincts, charging through the maze. Section elsewhere in the dungeon. It's begun, Ria said. Alone in a silent corridor, she walked with purpose. Everything was on track. Now, it was about playing her cards right. Will this turn out well or ill? Here's the gamble, Don Swordsman. Murmuring to no one, Ria pressed toward her destination. This was that place, familiar as home. She could navigate it blindfolded. Countless schemes converged within the dungeon. Section Audiobook by Masquerade at Masquerade Audiobooks. Chapter 7, The Mastermind. A sudden swarm of chaos beasts erupted within the dungeon. Their sheer numbers overwhelmed, assaulting the second trial's participants. Yet these were Astoria Magic Academy's finest, elite warriors. They didn't fall easily, fending off the onslaught, carving bloody paths forward. But even these titans couldn't overcome the relentless tide. Driven by the chaos beasts, they fled through the dungeon until... Section Haya. Rix's ferocious sword strikes blasted 3 chaos beasts charging from the front. The sword of light flashed, the beasts were shredded to pieces. Yeah. Another wave surged from deeper within, met by a single slash. The sword of light erupted. The swarm was blown back again. But no matter how many he felled, more chaos beasts poured forth endlessly. Damn it, what do I do? Having cleared the immediate threat, Rix sprinted to change locations. Behind him, the presence of another pursuing horde loomed. He was losing ground. Fighting here was pointless. He needed a safe haven and fast. Is there even a safe place in this dungeon? Fleeing, Rix felt a sinking dread. And it feels like I'm being herded somewhere. Ahead lay a T-junction. To the right, a palpable mass of chaos beasts pulsed. To the left, their presence was faint. It was as if the dungeon beckoned him left. Guess I've got no choice but to follow, Rix muttered, veering left and accelerating. A few chaos beasts appeared ahead. They bounded off floors, walls, and ceilings, lunging at Rix with ferocious speed. A fleeting slash as he passed, the sword of light. Without glancing, Rix dispatched them effortlessly. Man, I'm in top form, he said, glancing at his sword hand. Despite the chaos, he was at his peak. His technique was sharpening. The dawn's radiance grew stronger. Once, wielding the sword of light required submerging his ego, relying on Shino's lifeline. Now, it was rapidly becoming his own. Why do I only improve at stuff like this? I'd kill for some non-combat skills or knowledge. Grumbling, he cleaved more chaos beasts with the sword of light, forging a path. And then... Section, slashing chaos beasts left and right, wandering the dungeon's depths, Rix arrived. Where am I? He scanned his surroundings. It resembled an audience chamber from an ancient royal castle. Vast, with towering ceilings, the walls were adorned with strange tapestries, and a throne-like seat loomed at the far end. And there, Rix, you're safe. Thank goodness. Well, I figured you'd be fine. Randy, Karen Senpai, Alfred, and the other participants. Other candidates, likely driven here by the chaos beasts, stood with bewildered expressions. All were baffled by the incomprehensible situation. What's going on? Damn it, I thought I was dead. I'm done with this trial, I quit. Nearby, trembling and clutching their heads, were seniors. Lyra and Sherwood, if Rix recalled correctly. Against another wall, other senior students, male and female, visibly panicked. Rix counted the group. 8 including himself. Ria was missing. This is likely the dungeon's deepest chamber. The trial's tokens seem to have been destroyed, Karen-senpai said, pointing at the throne. There lay the wreckage of a crushed box, surrounded by fragments of what were likely the tokens. Where's Ria? Rix asked. Don't know. We were together partway, but got separated, Alfred said, adjusting his glasses irritably. That's worrying, but Ria's probably fine, Rix said, crossing his arms with a troubled look. SHH, someone's coming, Karen-senpai warned suddenly. A dark vortex swirled before the throne. Space warped, a gate opened, and a figure emerged. Stepping on the scattered token fragments, they appeared. Jigai-senpai. The unexpected arrival stunned everyone. Why's Guy here? Didn't you withdraw from the trial? Leroy and Sherwood shouted. Without warning, Guy raised a hand. A deafening roar. A massive lightning bolt struck, hurling Leroy and Sherwood back. Gah! Arg! The two flew, defenseless. The ruthless attack and overwhelming magical pressure froze the onlookers. Guy-senpai, what are you? I am the strongest, I must be the strongest. Ignoring Karen-senpai's cautious question, Guy muttered vacantly. His eyes were hollow, as if he didn't see the others at all. I am Glorial, I must be the strongest. Abruptly, Guy produced a strange skull from his sleeve and unleashed his magic. A sphere expanded. It felt as if the world plunged into a midnight abyss, swallowed by darkness. Gah! Ugh! Everyone writhed in agony. The crushing magical pressure. The overwhelming presence. Their souls and lives felt shaved away by his mere existence. What is this power? Not human. Randy and Alfred collapsed, hyperventilating. Impossible, this can't. Even Karen-senpai, among the strongest, could only tremble. I am the strongest, to prove it, I'll slaughter you all. Guy's chilling proclamation rang out. A swelling tide of murderous intent and malice. Through their spheres, the group more attuned to the world and its depths knew his words were true. They would die here. Terror and despair gripped them. They fell to their knees, unable to stand. Except for one. What's wrong, guys? What's wrong? What are you saying? Randy gasped, staring up at Rix in disbelief. Facing that monster and you're fine. Monster. Rix blinked, looking at Guy-senpai. Sure, he was strong, but that was it. Inspecting Guy-senpai, Rix noticed something and groaned. Oh, that weird skull he's holding. Bet it's causing trouble as usual. That's it, Randy gaped at Rix's casual reaction. Goddamn skulls, always up to no good. Rix sighed. Drawing his sword, he strolled toward Guy-senpai. Hey, Rix. Stop, you'll die, run. Randy and Alfred shouted, but Rix ignored them. This was a hellish death trap, yet he walked as if strolling through his backyard. Die. Guy-senpai, surging with dark magic, unleashed black lightning at Rix. Dozens, hundreds of bolts converged from all directions. A cataclysmic roar. Rix was dead, vaporized without a trace, everyone thought so. But the sword of light. At the moment of impact, a silver slash cleaved the lightning, erasing it. What? No way. Amid universal shock, even Guy-senpai faltered. Rix alone remained serene, like a spring breeze, casually approaching Guy-senpai. Impossible, my magic. Guy unleashed more black lightning, crashing, roaring, shaking the world, yet Rix's sword of light cut through it all. Why? I'm the strongest, I became the strongest. How is this so easy? Rix advanced, the distance closed. Soon, he'd be within striking range. Guy, terrified by Rix's nonchalant approach, activated a spell gained from the skull. O frenzied thunder of the Dark Night, reduce the world's laws to dust. O sealed Emperor of Ruin, now is the hour of our pact. Prayer magic, Guy-senpai's with the prayer faction, Karen-senpai cried, stunned by his chant. Rix, this is bad, Randy shouted, sensing an otherworldly, forbidden entity crossing dimensions. Rix, run, even you can't. But Rix steadily closed the gap. Before Guy-senpai, a being of higher existence manifested. The sovereign of world-ending black lightning, the 72nd Pillar's 13th. Answer my oath, Thunder Emperor of the Dark Night. Guy's proclamation summoned a colossal, alien deity from the abyss. The world darkened. Swirling clouds engulfed it. A giant's frame, clad in obsidian-like armor, a masked visage, jagged horns, a gaping maw with lightning-charged fangs, elongated limbs, clawed fingers wreathed in black thunder. 6 tattered wings. A being whose mere presence could shatter souls stood before Rix. But in that moment, Rix, within striking distance, swung his sword. A strike so swift yet so clear, its arc visible to all, a pinnacle of swordsmanship. The sword of light, the radiant blade, severing despair, bisected Gai-senpai's great one and the skull in his hand. Impossible. The shattered skull, Demon King artifact, crumbled. Gai, reliant on its power, was overwhelmed by the backlash of wielding such magic. A flood of magical energy scattered, a tempest distorting the world. When it subsided, Gai-senpai lay unconscious, eyes rolled back. Huh. That's it. What? No way. The abrupt end stunned everyone. Well, that's about right, Rick said, sheathing his sword. I get that Gai-senpai was a huge threat, but I didn't feel any pressure. What's up with me? Puzzled, Rick studied his hand. Man, you're unreal, Randy exclaimed, half exasperated, half elated, slapping Rix's shoulder. HMPH, not bad. If you weren't here, I'd have taken Guy down, Alfred huffed. Astounding. Rix, I didn't realize you were this formidable, Karen-senpai said, genuinely impressed. Other participants gawked, mouths agape. Aw, it's not that big a deal, Rix said, scratching his head bashfully. Not a big deal. You're incredible, Rix, so strong. A familiar voice echoed through the chamber. Rhea. Rix turned to see Rhea at the entrance. You're okay. Yup, somehow. Sorry I'm late, had some errands. Who cares, you're safe. Rix approached her. Karen-senpai and the others sighed in relief. Good, everyone's here. No one died in this chaos. Truly fortunate, Karen-senpai said. Yeah, though some seniors are banged up, Randy noted, glancing at Lyra and Sherwood receiving healing magic. But what's going on? Seems like Guy caused this mess. Why? Alfred wondered. Dunno, Randy shrugged. As Rix neared Rhea, Karen-senpai said, the trial's likely cancelled. Let's wait for the Academy's rescue. Yeah, oh Rix, Rhea said. What? With things like this, there's something I need to tell you. Now here. Yes, it's crucial, the truth is. Rhea stepped forward, raising a hand, about to speak. A bolt of lightning flashed between them. Rix halted. Rhea froze, her hand midair. Rix, get away from that woman. A familiar, furious voice. Rix looked toward the lightning source. Ashina. There stood Shino, staff aimed at Rhea, glaring fiercely. Why are you here? Forget that. Rix, get away from her. What's going on? No time, she's dangerous. The mastermind behind this trial's chaos is Rhea. Shino's accusations silenced the chamber. Rhea, the mastermind. What? Wasn't it Gai-senpai? Randy and Alfred were dumbfounded. Others exchanged confused glances. I don't get it. Why would Rhea do that? Rix asked. Don't you see? Rhea's with the prayer faction, and didn't you notice? She was about to kill you. Her words shocked everyone. Only Rhea remained silent. Rhea, prayer faction, trying to kill me? That's harsh, Shino, Rix said, forcing a laugh. What's your proof? Rhea Noctis. No such student exists at this academy. Rix blinked as Shino produced a book, tossing it. What's that? The Unicorn Goddess's roster. It records everyone tied to the academy, including all students. How she got it was a mystery, but Shino continued. I felt something off from the start. A talent like her, yet never mentioned, appearing out of nowhere. Didn't your hunch sense it? She was right. Rix had ignored it, but he'd felt unease about Rhea from the beginning. He couldn't pinpoint it, and as they grew close, he forgot the feeling. Pardon me, Karen-senpai said, picking up the roster while Shino kept Rhea at bay. She scanned the student list. It's authentic, and no Rhea Noctis. No way, Rix protested. Rhea knows Rudel-senpai. Rudel-senpai hates the prayer faction. She wouldn't overlook Rhea if she was one. There's a prayer magic for that, Shino said, unwavering. Reality-altering prayer magic, magic to dominate the world. I finally understood how the prayer faction hid in this heavily monitored academy. The Demon King of Twilight's ultimate prayer magic, dream-devouring Clown King. Rhea must wield its incomplete form, allowing the prayer faction to evade detection. The proofs. Shino swung her staff. Space warped and crushing supergravity bore down on Rhea. Shino's signature gravity magic unleashed with lethal intent, but Rhea countered. Shadow manipulating magic sent slashing shadows, severing the gravity's flow. Rhea retreated, summoning shadows to shield herself. See, Rhea, you're Shadow Master Hale, aren't you? Up close, your magic's flow is unmistakable. I of all people wouldn't mistake it. Rhea's eyes widened, betraying a flicker of panic. Shadow Master Hale, the mage who served the Demon King of Twilight, right. The group stirred, exchanging bewildered looks. What are you saying, Shino? I learned about her in history. She's ancient. How's she, Rhea? Like me, Shino said. Rix froze. Indeed, Shino was the reincarnated Demon King of Twilight, Shenora. If she could exist in this era, so could another. Wait, Shino. No waiting, your life's at stake. Shino advanced, staff trained on Rhea. This is my theory. Rhea, no, Shadow Master Hale, is the Prayer faction's leader, hiding in the Academy's shadows. Her goal to fully master the Demon King of Twilight's ultimate technique, dream-devouring Clown King, which controls all. Shenora with it reached godhood, that's its power. But it had one weakness, the Dawn Swordsman. His sword of light was its ultimate counter. To the Prayer faction, who crave world domination, nothing's more threatening. So, Rhea risked approaching you in this trial, Rix, the closest to the Dawn Swordsman, to eliminate you. Death in a magic battle can be written off as an accident, or in the secret chamber, where the Academy can't interfere. She planned to use the trial, right? She gave Guy-senpai a Supreme Demon King artifact to kill you without dirtying her hands, right. But you awakened too far as the Dawn Swordsman, rendering the artifact useless, forcing her to act, right. I won't let you kill Rix. Her accusations silenced the room. Then, ha-ha-ha, Rhea let out a dry laugh. Shino, you've got quite an imagination. She glared back, oddly composed. Ridiculous, your story might have some logic, but where's the proof? I am the proof. As the Demon King of Twilight, Shenora, I accuse you, Shadow Master Hale. Yes. Her revelation stunned everyone. Hey you. Shino. Randy and Rix gaped. Shino's identity as Shenora was a secret known only to her closest allies. It was a critical secret for her peaceful student life. Yet she revealed it here. Shino to protect me. Her resolve shook Rix like a blow to the head. Hale, your former master condemns you. No more excuses. I taught you that shadow magic. What? No, you're the Demon King of Twilight. Where's your proof? No one'll believe that nonsense. Deny it? Fine. You've no choice. I don't care if these onlookers think I'm mad or a liar. I only need one person to know the truth. She looked at Rix. Rix, believe me. One sentence. Her gaze, earnest and unwavering, met his. Wait, Rix, Rhea said, backing away, panicked. You're buying her nonsense. Be rational. We competed together in this trial. Don't you trust me a little? Rix, silent, looked between them. Then, resolute, he drew his sword. Rix. Shino's eyes lit with trust, Rhea's with fear. Rix closed his eyes, raised his sword, and said, I've decided. I believe you. He charged with blinding speed. Aiming for the dangerous figure, he struck without hesitation. Clang, a sharp metallic sound rang out. Rix's sword was blocked by a shadow blade rising from the ground. The shadow's master stood protecting Shino. What? Rix. Randy and Alfred gaped. Why, after all that, her? Even Rhea, braced for combat, shouted in disbelief. Rix, through crossed blades, stared into Shino's shocked eyes. Her surprise lingered, but she narrowed her eyes coldly. Cruel Rix. Why turn your sword on me? After all I've done, tutoring you, saving you with magic, the trust we've built since enrollment, worth less than some random girl. I'm hurt. Ahem. Rix tilted his head at her icy resentment. Yeah, you're Shino, all right. What's gone mad? You're definitely Shino. My Shino cool, sarcastic, caring, kind, no doubt it's you. But, he paused, fixing her with a sharp gaze. Right now you're Shino and not Shino. She sighed, exasperated. What's that mean? Got proof? Rix answered simply. My hunch, it's usually right. Kept me alive this long. His typical nonchalance stunned her. She sighed again, then relented. Creepy, how's your hunch that accurate? You're so creepy. In that instant, pitch-black magical energy erupted from her, far surpassing Guy-senpai's. A violent surge, rewriting the very fabric of this realm. A massive sphere enveloped all, dominating the world. In the next moment, the world changed. Chapter 8, The Demon King of Twilight. Despair loomed before them. It took the form of a girl, but it was a deception. Beneath that guise lurked something monstrous, something vile, a mass of pitch-black magical energy, a demonic fiend capable of toppling the heavens. Demon King of Twilight. Once, that's what they called me. Someone in Shino's form surveyed the stunned crowd and declared as much. Ria, tense, confronted her. So it's true, you are the Demon King of Twilight. I considered it a possibility, but I was careless. I was supposed to meet you at the Dardrick Magic Tournament. Ria, what exactly do you know? Rix asked, gripping his sword, noting her knowing expression. No time to explain now. You get that right. Seeing Ria's unwavering focus on Shino, Rix understood. But was her composure genuine? Does it matter? Before I slaughter you all, I might as well offer a parting gift for the underworld, Shino said, her voice casual. Rix's breath hitched. Rix, it's me. The mastermind of the prayer faction, lurking in the Academy's shadows, it was me. My targeting by Anna of the prayer faction was a farce. Every incident you faced, I was the one distributing Demon King artifacts behind the scenes. Even the supreme artifact I gave Gai-senpai earlier, it was me. All of it. Shino let out a chilling laugh, but... No, that's not right, Rix said with conviction. What? You're Shino, sure, but the one pulling the strings wasn't you. It was her. Anna-sensei wasn't after you, she was after her. His cryptic words baffled the onlookers. Impressive, Rix, you see through even that. Truly remarkable, Ria said, speaking for the silenced Shino. You're right, Rix. She's not the Shino you know, she's the other Shino Shenora. You know prayer magic deeply affects its user's power, right? Ria continued, addressing Rix's silence. The former Shen sorcerer was an anomaly. She mastered prayer magic to its limits while preserving her identity. Driven to protect her homeland in a war-torn era, her resolve and conviction were extraordinary. But even she had her breaking point. Ria exhaled, her tone grave. This world, it once perished entirely, erased from official chronicles, but it happened. What? During the Mythic Age, Mage's zenith, Mage nations waged fierce wars for supremacy. A global magical war raged. Shenora fought to shield her homeland, but a superpower's tactical nuclear heat spell misfired, annihilating all life and rendering the world uninhabitable. To save that ruined world, Shenora turned to the one magic she swore never to touch, prayer magic. She invoked the 72nd pillar, dream-devouring Clown King. By altering reality, she restored the world to its pre-collapse state. The group struggled to grasp the cosmic tale. Ria pressed on, but that act pushed her beyond her limits, plunging her into madness. The kind girl who dreamed of making people smile was gone. Only the Demon King of Twilight, craving power, reveling in devouring others, and sowing chaos, remained. Understand, Rix? Her personality and soul are split. The gentle girl before the alteration, the killer after. Both are her, yet entirely distinct. Unlike other prayer magic users whose personalities warp, Shenora's case is unique. She exists in both the pre- and post-altered worlds, overwritten by her post-altered self. As a wholly separate entity, she's unaware of the other self within her. I don't get it, so Shino has a split personality, Rix asked. Simplifying it, yeah, though it's far more complex, Ria replied. Glaring at Shino, she spat. The problem is, as a distinct entity, the Demon King of Twilight, Shenora, doesn't need Shino's body. She can leave it, taking various forms to act independently. Rix pieced it together. Anna-sensei's attempt to recruit Shino into the prayer faction likely stemmed from this. If both Shenora and Shino, sharing the body, joined, it'd be a massive boon for the faction. That's why, no matter how much we investigated, we couldn't pin down Shenora's host or identity, until now. Soon, I'll reclaim dream-devouring Clown King, Shenora interrupted, in Shino's form. I'm tired of skulking in this body, changing forms and scheming in the shadows. It's time to act openly, so I've stepped forward. For what? Rix demanded. To bury you, Rix, Shenora replied. Shenora, wearing Shino's face but with an alien smile, pointed her staff at Rix. Rix, I must grow stronger. Stronger, ever stronger. To do that, I must kill, 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 and devour every life in this world. And you, the Dawn Swordsman, are in my way. In that instant, overwhelming magical energy erupted from Shenora. A colossal sphere expanded. Compared to Gai-senpai's earlier power, it was a despair-inducing surge. Oh, triple calamity, threefold disaster. Sever the ring that binds thee, and gather here as one. Shenora chanted sonorously. Countless prayer magics activated, a feat only the knowledgeable would recognize, summoning multiple Great Ones in a single stroke. Great Ones manifested behind her. O shadow lurking in the jet black night, master of secret whispers. O inferno raising ashes, incinerator of all. O abyss born from chaotic void, nurturer of despair. Answer the contract's seal, break thy bonds, descend by thy name. A torrent of magical energy exploded. Malevolent divine aura surged. A demon, a collective of formless shadows, a giant wolf-like demon, wreathed in crimson-black flames. A humanoid demon, faceless save for a gaping black hole. Each alone could destroy the world thrice, burn it tenfold, and more, supreme higher-dimensional beings. They gathered as one. What is this? No way. Randy, Alfred, and Karen Senpai stood frozen, eyes wide. Eek. Someone help. Other trial participants collapsed, paralyzed by fear. This wasn't expected. To think this era's Shenora regained such power already. Rhea paled, grinding her teeth. In this hopeless stalemate, Shenora declared, "Don't worry. After I deal with Rix, I'll devour you all. You'll become part of me, fuel for my growth." Isn't that wonderful? Her serene smile spoke louder than words. The surrounding darkness deepened. Terror, despair, and trembling gripped everyone. Then, "Stop, Shino, you don't want this," Rix said. "Don't want it, me. Why would you think that?" "Because you've been crying this whole time." "Crying?" Shenora tilted her head, puzzled. "Are your eyes rotting? I don't see a single tear. Am I imagining things?" "No, you're crying," Rix insisted. He began walking toward her. "You're sobbing like a child, screaming, 'Someone help me! Someone stop me!' I can tell it's a hunch." Shenora laughed off his words. "Ha, creepy. That creepiness of yours, it hasn't changed since we met." Undeterred, Rix approached. Then, as if struck by revelation, he said, "Oh, I get it now. I understand why I'm here. I've always wondered. I existed as a mindless killing puppet in this world. Who made me? For what purpose? But now I know. I was born to stop you." Everyone stared, wondering what nonsense he spouted in such a dire moment. Had despair driven him mad? Utter gibberish, playing Dawn Swordsman. Seriously creepy, Shenora scoffed, but... "Rix." Rhea gazed at him, her eyes tinged with regret and guilt. Rix, unwavering, locked eyes with Shenora. "Here I come." He raised his sword. "This time, I'll save you." With that vow, Rix charged at Shenora with blinding speed. The distance between them vanished. "Fool!" Shenora unleashed prayer magic. The shadow lurking in the jet-black night swung its dark arm at Rix. "Hyla." The sword of light flashed. Rix's strike obliterated the arm. 3 steps to Shenora. "Hyla." Shenora's brief flinch gave way to her next great one. The abyss born from chaotic void unleashed countless chaotic tendrils from all directions. The sword of light surged. Rix's strike slashed them all away. 2 steps to Shenora. "Hyla." "Too clever," Shenora muttered, sending another great one. The inferno raising ashes unleashed a cataclysmic blaze from above. The sword of light roared. Rix's strike cleaved and extinguished it. 1 step to Shenora. "Hyla." Rix closed the gap, bringing Shenora within his reach. Her summoned great ones dispatched effortlessly. Shenora's face betrayed clear panic. Staring her down, Rix unflagging thought, "I'll use the sword of light to sever Shenora from Shino." It's possible, like with Rudel Senpai. The Dawn Swordsman said the sword of light cuts concepts. It has to work. With that certainty, Shenora. Rix swung the sword of light down. Fool." Shenora's icy voice echoed. It reverberated coldly in the silence of shared despair. "Gah." Rix's coughing blood broke the silence. "You thought I hadn't prepared for the sword of light." A swordsman appeared, shielding Shenora. Rix knew him. A familiar face build. Rough traveler's garb, flawless stance. The swordsman from his dreams, the Dawn Swordsman, yet his eyes were hollow, devoid of will. The calm expression, the serene wisdom gone, only void. But his power and skill matched the Dawn Swordsman perfectly, and his sword pierced Rix's heart. Prayer magic summons mythic entities from the abyss, a form of summoning magic. Naturally, heroic spirits in the abyss are included. Normally, human spirits are too weak compared to great ones to bother with, but one spirit was worth summoning. the peerless hero who vanquished great ones, the Dawn Swordsman. Shenora lifted Rix's chin, sneering. A fake like you could never defeat the real thing, could you? Wordless, Rix collapsed, blood pooling around him. Chapter 9, The Swordsman of the Azure Sky. Rix. Randy's anguished cry intertwined with Shenora's deranged laughter. Shenora snapped her fingers. The Dawn Swordsman raised his sword, poised to deliver the killing blow to Rix, collapsed on the ground. Rhea swung her staff, manipulating shadows. A massive shadow engulfed Rix, pulling him to her side. Hey, Rix, stay with us. Alfred and Randy rushed to him, but... No, it's fatal. It's only a matter of time. Damn it. Alfred clutched his head in despair, while Randy, tears in his eyes, pounded the cobblestones. Sorry, I didn't expect. Even weakened by rebirth, Shenora could wield such. Rhea conjured countless shadow walls to hold Shenora and the Dawn Swordsman at bay, but they were frail defenses. No time for talk. Karen Senpai, beside Rhea, raised her fists toward Shenora. Even Karen Senpai, a titan among them, couldn't stop trembling. The demon king of Twilight and the Dawn Swordsman. Undoubtedly history's most formidable and fearsome duo. Karen Senpai's instincts screamed she'd die facing them. The other trial participants stood frozen, trembling, paralyzed. The battle was decided before it began. Now, who shall I devour first? With that executioner's decree, Shenora, flanked by the Dawn Swordsman, advanced toward the quaking group. Absolute despair, then. Haida. Searing flames and frigid ice surged toward Shenora. She flicked her staff, deflecting them. Taya. A massive battle axe swung at the Dawn Swordsman. He parried effortlessly, leaping back. Suddenly, Seraphina, Rutil Senpai, Tran. The student council. Seraphina, Rutil, Tran, and other rescuers arrived, shielding the fallen Rix and confronting Shenora. This is bad. Haha, I might die here today, hate that. Even Harold, Remy, and Liz, among the Academy's strongest, sweated and shook before Shenora and the Dawn Swordsman. Rix-kun. Annie rushed to his side. Seeing him in a pool of blood, she paled. Horrible, what is this? She froze, despairing at his near-death state. Can you save Rix-kun? Rutil, at the forefront, asked Annie quietly. I don't know if my power can save him, but I have to try. Tears streaming, Annie began casting healing magic. Her white magic, especially healing, was exceptional. Yet, saving Rix in this state was near impossible. Do what you can, Annie-san, Rutil said, raising an ice sword toward Shenora. I've grasped the situation via farsight and far-hearing magic. Shino-san, no, the entity within her is the prayer faction's leader, correct? Rutil, unwavering, questioned Rhea. Yes, Rutil, I'm sorry, I failed our pact. Rhea said remorsefully. No matter, my foresight was lacking. I anticipated a prayer faction move, but not this. Shino-san as the demon king of Twilight, Shenora, their true leader who could have predicted this. Sorry, Rutil Senpai. If we'd revealed Shino's identity as the demon king of Twilight sooner. Randy's voice dripped with regret. Protecting Shino's place at the Academy by keeping her secret had backfired spectacularly. Had they disclosed it, allowing Academy mentors to investigate, the prayer faction might not have gained such an advantage. But, no time for regrets, we deal with them now. Seraphina, wreathed in flames, readied her rapier. Right, gotta do what we can. Randy stood, bracing himself. Damn, what a mess. Alfred prepared himself. No choice. But, Tran gripped her battle axe, trembling. I can't stop shaking, can we really beat them? To Tran's doubt. No chance, you vermin, Shenora sneered coldly. Even a mock Dawn swordsman like Rix couldn't defeat me. You frail mages of this tepid era think you can challenge me, the mythic era's supreme demon king of Twilight. Are you brain dead? We have no choice. This is a crux for the world's survival and a prime chance to crush you prayer faction, Rutil declared, eyes resolute. Everyone, I'll handle the Dawn swordsman. Rhea faced him. I'm Shadow Master Hale. In the mythic era, I clashed with the Dawn swordsman. Focus on Shenora. Her barrage of prayer magic drained her. She can't use major spells for now. Reborn, she lacks her former power. Still a heavy foe, but we've got no choice. Randy wiped sweat, nodding. Go, follow me. Rutil charged Shenora and the desperate battle began. Section, I see a dream. The memories I glimpse in dreams lately. Seeing this dream again, I'm somehow certain. This is likely the last dream I'll see. Section: A young swordsman, cradling a lifeless girl, walks. The girl, once the demon king of Twilight, was calamity incarnate. Yet, despite her atrocities, her slaughter, and the world's hatred, her face in death was serene, peaceful, as if a curse had lifted. The swordsman, his expression a mix of sorrow and longing, carries her through a dawn-lit, whitening wasteland. Drip, drip, blood flows from his wounds. His life ebbs with each step, yet he walks toward somewhere. Eventually, a female mage appeared, shouting his name. Her name, Shadow Master Hale, the sole ally who served the demon king of Twilight when the world opposed her. "It's over, Hale," the swordsman said quietly. Hale saw the demon king of Twilight in his arms, eyes widening. Silent tears fell. "You kept your promise. You saved Shenora-sama from her endless nightmare. Finally, finally." Hale gently caressed the demon king of Twilight's cheek, lovingly. "Rest now, Shenora-sama, you needn't suffer anymore." "Forgive me, Hale, for only saving her this way," the swordsman said. "No, it's enough. I merely stayed by Shenora-sama's side. I did nothing." The demon king of Twilight, Shenora, who slaughtered and devoured all. Why she spared Hale, keeping her clothes, was a mystery. Even Hale had no clue. Hale claimed she was a war orphan, whimsically taken in by Shenora. Perhaps Hale was the last shred of Shenora's conscience after her fall. I knew, beneath her madness, Shenora-sama's true heart. She suffered alone, always crying, but I could do nothing. "I know. I understand," the swordsman said. Carefully, he laid the demon king of Twilight on the ground. Then, gah, cough. He spat blood, collapsing to his knees. Hale rushed to him. "Looks like this is it for me. My strength, my life, all spent." "No." "And Hale, I must apologize. I succeeded in severing dream-devouring Clown King from Shenora, but separating the pre-collapse Shenora from the post-rebirth Shenora, I couldn't. I lacked the strength, dealing with dream-devouring Clown King. Took everything, I'm sorry." Hale's eyes widened at his regret. "No, what you did is enough." She smiled, comforting him. "In the distant future, Shenora-sama will be reborn. I'll reincarnate too. This time, I'll save her so." To her resolve, the swordsman said sternly, "Hale, create me." "What?" "I'm no mage, I can't reincarnate. But you're skilled in alchemy, right? Create me." "I'm done, I can do no more, but in that far future, when Shenora is reborn, let me awaken to fight and save her, create another me, please." "That's impossible." Hale stood, shaking her head. "With your blood and soul, I could craft a puppet like you. But it'd be just that, a puppet, a mere imitation. It'd lack your will, your soul. Such a thing reaching your supreme swordsmanship, or inheriting your resolve to save Shenora, it's impossible." "It's possible. It can be done. Just command it to master the sword upon awakening. If it's born from me, no matter the path, it'll reach its destination. I exist solely to save Shenora." Alchemical homunculi are false lives, not independent beings. They require a purpose and command to exist. Their reason for being must be externally defined. Then save Shenora. That's the other me's purpose. Do you understand? Once that purpose is fulfilled, the homunculus can't sustain itself. It'll revert to a lifeless puppet. The swordsman accepted the cruel truth silently. Hale, pained, asked, "Why? Why impose such a cruel fate on another you? You're a hero who saved the world. Shouldn't your other self live freely, happily? You've earned that, so why?" "To save Shenora," he said. His dying eyes burned with unyielding resolve. Hale, tears falling, sighed. "Right, that's who you are. That's why, despite clashing with you countless times, I trusted you in the end. You were the only one, while the world hated and cursed Shenora-sama, you alone loved her, sought to save her." "I understand, I promise. I'll create your puppet, as you wish, to repay you, my greatest benefactor." "Thank you, Hale. But that's where it ends. I'll craft your puppet as you desire, but not to fulfill your wish. I'll save Shenora-sama. Your puppet won't achieve its purpose. Even if it's a mere imitation, I want you to live. So, I'll obstruct it. Every attempt it makes to reach Shenora-sama, I'll thwart." "I'm sorry." "That's fine if thou wilt cast others' desires into the furnace. That's the mage's way, right? Do as you please." With that, the swordsman sat, then lay back. The sky, ill-fitting for such a parting, was a vibrant azure. "But I'm not worried." "Huh? You're concerned for this me, but it'll be fine." "Fine how?" "Just a hunch, but I know myself. Surely me will." Section. Rick's gun. A sudden call snapped Rick's awake. His consciousness, adrift in dream's depths, surged back. Reflexively, he jolted upright. Gah! Searing pain tore through his chest, sweat poured, and he hyperventilated. Ha, ha, ha. No, don't move yet. Annie tried to restrain him, but Rick's core was too strong. Annie, what happened? You were dying, no, you died. Killed by the Dawn swordsman summoned by Shino-san, the demon king of Twilight. Annie wept. I barely made it. Studying white magic paid off. Your revival was a 1 in 100 miracle. But she glanced away, darkening. There. Hyla. Seraphina wielded flames, Rudel ice, Randy wind-clad fists, Tran his battle axe, Alfred varied magic, Karen senpai swift punches, Harold countless spirits, Liz summoned swords, Remy multiple barriers. All fought Shenora desperately. Gah. Rhea, manipulating shadows, clashed fiercely with the Dawn swordsman. In this hellish battlefield. The Dawn swordsman's swordplay, and Shenora's vulture-like laughter echoed. Shenora, her sphere and magic enveloping the world, wore a childlike, playful expression. It was clear. She wasn't serious. Despite the numerical disadvantage, the gulf in power was vast. Yet, Shenora didn't kill Rudel and the others. She toyed with them, parrying, injuring them just enough. Not a single hit landed on her, her breath steady. She was deliberately prolonging the fight. Well done, well done. Try harder, more. No matter their attacks, Shenora was an unfathomable void. Even Rudel, Seraphina, and Tran showed fatigue and frustration. Rix understood. Why Shenora didn't end it, why she dragged this out. She's waiting for everyone to despair. What? I realized that's who the Demon King of Twilight is. Annie flinched at Rix's cryptic words. Rick's gun, what do you? Ignoring her, Rix grabbed his sword, using it as a crutch to stand shakily. I'll end it, the mythic era's grudge. Hi. With that leaving a stunned Annie, Rix walked toward Shenora. Section, pathetic. Worse than mythic era fodder mages. The quality of mages has plummeted. Unscathed, unruffled, the Demon King of Twilight stood. Damn. Regrettable. Seraphina, Rudel, and the others, battered, knelt. Shenora smirked, her face alight with pleasure. Nice expressions, about time. Suddenly, new magic rose from her. A dimension of power unfelt until now. Her prior magic was a dormant volcano. This was an eruptive, violent surge. She was ready to end it. No, not yet. As they gritted their teeth. Crash, a tremendous impact. Rhea's shredded body rolled before them. The Dawn swordsman, Rix's mirror, stood beside Shenora. Unscathed, unruffled. Even Shadowmaster Hale, Rhea, couldn't scratch him. The realization crushed them. Lovely expressions. I adore them, Shenora said, her smile radiant. Her soul-shattering killing intent slammed into them. Damn. Is this it? Despair gripped all then. The sword of light rained down. The Demon King of Twilight and Dawn swordsman leaped back. A silver torrent slashed where they'd stood. There. Rix. Rix stood, sword lowered, shielding the group. You're alive. Barely, somehow made it, he said to Randy. He advanced slowly toward the Demon King of Twilight and Dawn swordsman. Hey, what are you doing, Rix? Fulfilling a puppet's role. What? Ignoring Seraphina's confusion, Rix glanced at the fallen Rhea. Thanks for keeping your promise, Hale. Rix. I remember everything. I'm a puppet, crafted by you to mimic the Dawn swordsman. My sole purpose, to defeat the reborn Demon King of Twilight, Shenora. You mean? Leave it to me. I've got this, I exist for this moment. At his declaration, Rhea slumped, regretful. Sorry. As Rix approached Shenora, she scoffed. Oh, I see, so that's it. She glared at him. You're Hale's homunculus, aren't you? Dunno what that means, but yeah, I'm Hale's puppet. No wonder you're like the Dawn swordsman, yet not. A mere imitation. She shifted her gaze to Rhea, crawling in blood. Cruel Hale. I favored you, yet you betrayed me for the Dawn swordsman and crafted this puppet to destroy me in the future. Truly cruel. Because, Shenora-sama, your true wish. Silence, you'll suffer worse than death later. Don't expect an easy end, Shenora spat, turning to Rix. He paused, facing her and the Dawn swordsman. Silence stretched between them. Shenora sneered. Hey, puppet, do you understand? Destroy me and you die. I can tell. You're Hale's puppet, right? Those aren't convenient. No matter how skilled, humans can't create life. Only puppets. Puppets exist through purpose. Your purpose is destroying me, correct? Yeah, Rick said quietly. That's why I was made. Fine with that, fulfill your purpose and you're done. You'll cease to exist. Kill me, the demon king of twilight, and you die. Then, Shenora's body shuddered. What I say is true. Her face twisted in despair and sorrow. Shenora no, Shino clutched her head, trembling, shouting. I remembered everything. Ashino. The ritual to create you as a puppet, I taught Hale you'll die, no Rick's escape. At least you, and besides. Her body jolted. The demon king of Twilight's overwhelming presence resurfaced. Rebirth was a mistake, letting that frail me surface. Shenora, regaining control, continued Shino's words. Besides, think you can win. A mere puppet against the true demon king of Twilight and Dawn's swordsman. Her abyssal eyes bore into Rick's. In response, light glowed at his sword's tip, radiant silver, Dawn's light. The same brilliance as the Dawn swordsman's sword standing before Shenora. Rick's raised his glowing blade. HMPH, still a pathetic imitation, Shenora sneered at his light. You're a puppet, no matter how close its mimicry. Far from the true Dawn swordsman's light, which even defeated me. As she spoke, the Dawn swordsman's sword blazed overwhelmingly. That was it, the true sword of light. Its dawn-like radiance, hope and despair entwined, whitened the world. I can't win, my blade can't match his, Rix knew instantly. Haha, with this gap, maybe I didn't need to rush to kill you. Rix gazed steadily at the smug Shenora. Still, I'll do it, I'm a puppet made for this. HMPH, a will-less puppet, pitiful, annoying, vanish. Shenora snapped her fingers irritably. The Dawn swordsman raised his sword of light and charged Rix at godlike speed. Simultaneously, Rix raised his sword of light and charged. Their speed seemed equal. A clash of supreme swordsmen. But my hunch tells me I can't win. I'll lose, I'll save no one. In a world where moments stretched infinitely. In heightened focus, time warped, Rix foresaw his defeat. In a slow-motion world. Slowly, Rix and the Dawn swordsman advanced. Rix mirrored the Dawn swordsman astonishingly, he was so close. To onlookers, their techniques, movements, precision were identical, yet their essence differed vastly. Rix fell far short of the Dawn swordsman's heavenly realm. He'd lose, die, everyone would die. Realizing the inevitable, a chill ran up Rix's spine, clear terror and despair. Feelings he'd never known, even in hellish battles. It puzzled him. Why? I'm just a puppet, meant to fulfill my role and be discarded. Why do I feel this? You already know the answer, don't you? The Dawn swordsman, charging at him, spoke. He addressed Rix. Summoned by Shenora's prayer magic, he shouldn't have autonomy. Yet in this slowed world, as Rix faltered, the Dawn swordsman continued calmly. Puppets don't cry, don't laugh, don't rage, feel nothing. So you're already Dawn swordsman. True, you were made as my puppet. You're a mere imitation, an inferior replica, that's fact. But the path you've walked, what you've gained, what you wish to achieve, those aren't my imitation. You'll never become me. Never the Dawn swordsman, that's my path. The journey I gritted through, struggling, suffering, striving, thinking to reach what I did. Kill Shenora. Kill Shenora. Kill Shenora. To save my childhood friend, to atone for failing her, to cleanse her sins, I honed my sword for that alone. No matter how you mimic me, you'll never be the Dawn swordsman. Slowly, their distance closed. Rix, what do you wish to achieve with your sword? Speak your heart. That's why you wield your sword. To the Dawn swordsman's question, Rix closed his eyes, then opened them, staring straight at him. I want to live happily with everyone. The answer came surprisingly easily. Rix smiled unwittingly. A pure smile the Dawn swordsman, who devoted his life to battle, could never have worn. I want to become a mage, take a peaceful job far from bloodshed, marry a cute wife, live happily, and die in bed surrounded by grandkids. That's why I'll wield my sword. The Dawn swordsman, stunned by such a whimsical declaration at this critical moment, blinked. Then he grinned enviously. That's nice. Right. Yeah, a life I could never have. He nodded, satisfied. A sword is will. Yeah. A person's life, beliefs, essence, emotions, they ride the sword as will. That's technique. A sword reflects one's heart, a form of magic. Yeah. Then pour it in, all of you into your next strike. Got it. Got it. But as a swordsman who reached the heavenly peak, I have my pride. I won't lose, I won't hold back. Of course. They smiled, nodding. Then, ready? Yeah. Here we go. Fair and square. A duel. A duel. That instant, warped time normalized. The sluggish world snapped into a supreme clash at godlike speed. Hyla. Rix's sword of light swung at the Dawn swordsman. The Dawn swordsman's sword of light swung at Rix. Both blades, gleaming silver dawn, collided head-on. Rix focused everything into his sword. The Dawn swordsman's overwhelming pressure bore down. Immense, too immense. This was it, the strike of the supreme swordsman who defeated the demon king of Twilight, saved the world, and reached the heavenly peak. Rix felt himself being overwhelmed. But, don't lose, Rix. Rix! His comrades' desperate cries. Please, Rix. Anarchy. The prayers of past allies, and beyond the Dawn swordsman, Shenora. No, Shino, a single tear tracing her cheek, the suppressed wishes of the girl trapped within Shenora. Everything Rix had gained at this academy. They pushed Rix's back as he faltered under the Dawn swordsman's sword pressure. Rix roared. In that instant, his sword of light transformed. From radiant silver, like dawn's first light, to the vibrant blue of a cloudless azure sky, Rix's sword, suddenly it changed. Rix's blade, on the verge of being overwhelmed, began to push back the Dawn swordsman's sword, little by little. It matched his blade. And then, from a deadlock, it surged forward, overpowering it. A single slash of the sword of the azure sky pierced the world. Vivid blue flashed, cleaving the Dawn swordsman, hurling him skyward. The onlookers gaped. The demon king of Twilight stared, stunned. No, impossible. How could the Dawn swordsman lose to a mere imitation puppet? In Shenora's shocked eyes, Rix advanced, his sword tip-aglow with azure light. Of course. The Dawn swordsman, slashed and airborne, smirked faintly. He muttered, unheard by all, my sword was forged solely to kill Shenora. That was my heavenly realm. This outcome is only natural. Shenora couldn't move. Facing Rix, sword raised, she was frozen. His speed was too great to counter, yes, but his sword it was. Too pure, too beautiful. She couldn't help but be captivated. And then, Rix's sword completely severed Shino from Shenora. This time, it utterly destroyed Shenora. Section, Rix. Rix. After it ended, as Rix collapsed like a puppet with cut strings, everyone rushed to him. Hey, stay with us, Rix. Anarchy. Rix gun. Randy, Tran, Annie, Serafina, Rutil, Ria, Alfred, Karen Senpai. Comrades who'd fought through this ordeal gathered around him. And, Rix. Shino, on the verge of tears, lifted him. Shino? Yeah, you're the Shino I know, you're back, I'm so glad. Rix, eyes barely open, murmured with relief. I'm glad you're safe. I fulfilled my role, I'm glad. Rix, you idiot, what have you done? Shino, tears in her eyes, shook him, but Rix's eyes slowly closed. Hey, Rix, no, open your eyes. Look at me. I have no regrets. Saving you, fulfilling my role, I regret nothing. Rix smiled, content, he closed his eyes. Well, maybe one regret. Before his panicked comrades, he whispered, I wanted to stay with everyone longer. With that, Rix's consciousness sank into darkness. Final chapter, the puppet who became human. Time flew by. Man, never thought a day like this would come. Frankly, the Academy must have lost its mind. Give it up. No matter what you say, it'll just sound like sour grapes. Randy spoke with deep emotion, Alfred grumbled discontentedly, and Serafina teased. They stood before the athletes' waiting room at the Dardrick Magic Tournament Arena, located in the ancient city of Dardrick, west of Astoria Duchy's capital, Estelheim. Randy, Serafina, Annie, Tran, Alfred, Ria, Karen Senpai, those bonded through the Demon King of Twilight incident, had gathered. Well, our Astoria Magic Academy representatives better give it their all, Karen Senpai said. Tran's gonna cheer super hard. Hee, me too, Annie chimed in. As the group chatted lively, the waiting room door swung open with a click. Out stepped several figures in ornate robes designed for Astoria Magic Academy's representatives. Rutil, Harold, Liz, Remy, and, hey everyone, here to cheer me on, thanks. Rix, wow, look at you. Even a mule shines in fine clothes. Suits you, Rix, Ria said, beaming at Rix in his representative robe. Oh, really? Yup. Only issue is you're the only competitor who can't use magic. That feels like a fatal flaw, Rix muttered. Damn it, how'd I lose to this guy? Next year you're done, Alfred spat irritably. The others, seeing Rix, erupted in cheers and encouragement. Come on, say something, Rhea urged, pushing a girl lurking at the group's edge toward Rix. That girl was HMPH, the world's gone mad. A non-mage like you, a representative at the greatest young mages tournament. Shino, looking away, muttered sarcastically. Hey, come on, it's fine, Rix said, scratching his head. Sure, the selection trial got chaotic with the prayer faction mess, but I legitimately won through to the end. Well, that's true, but... Shino fell silent, awkward, knowing she'd played a role in that chaos, however involuntarily. Still, what a shock. Who'd have thought the second trial was a sting operation to nab the prayer faction? Rix said. Indeed. Behind the second trial, Headmaster Jake, Darwin, and Crawford had been at work. Shenora, the prayer faction's leader, made a bold move, creating an opening that allowed the Academy to locate their hideout, the secret chamber. The Academy's elite mentors, knowing a move was coming, outmaneuvered them brilliantly. While Rix battled the Demon King of Twilight, Shenora, the mentors clashed with the prayer faction in a deadly struggle. From the start, Rudel and the Academy had been coordinated, though no one, not even Rudel, expected the Demon King of Twilight to emerge. If the professors had known you were Shenora from the start, things might have gone differently, Rix mused. No helping it now. If they'd known, who knows if they'd have let me live. Besides, Shenora's gone. I'm just Shino, she said, pouting. Right, sorry, didn't mean to blame you. It's just kinda weird, you know. Weird? Yeah. I thought killing Shenora would kill me. If the past Rix saw in his dreams was true, fulfilling his role as a homunculus should have ended his life. Yet, here he was, alive. A bit anxious about when he might drop dead, but so far, no signs. He was as lively as ever. Why, I wonder? Simple, Shino said. You found your own purpose, not when imposed by others, you went from puppet to human. That's how it works. That's how it is. Then I owe Commander Blackwood some thanks. He might have set me on the path to being human. Maybe sending a letter to your old benefactor wouldn't hurt. Feels like he'd drag me back, scary thought. They shared trivial chatter for a while. Then, I hate to cut this short, but it's time, Rudel said, checking her pocket watch, urging Rix. We'll now fight proudly for Astoria Magic Academy's honor. Please cheer us on. With that, Rudel led the team toward the arena. Oh, right, I'm off, Rix said, following her. The group called out, Rix Gun, do your best. Give it all you got. Your enrollment's on the line. Prove yourself worthy of being my future vassal. Anarchy, fight. You're competing over me. Don't embarrass yourself, or I won't forgive you. Good luck. Just do your thing. Each sent their own words of encouragement as Rix marched to the arena. And, Rix. As they passed, Shino spoke. What's up, Shino? Do your best, I believe in you. You can do it, she said, her smile gentle. Oh, would you miss me if I got expelled? Don't get cocky, you creep. Gah. Shino's razor-sharp retort dealt Rix heavy mental damage before the match. Staggering after Rudel and the others, Rix's back received a final, quiet whisper. Thank you, Rix. Softly, too faint for him to hear, Shino murmured. Their lively academy days would continue. Afterward, greetings, this is Taro Hitsuji. As a writer, there are moments of pure bliss in the craft of novel writing. Naturally, these moments vary from author to author, but for me, the ultimate writerly high comes at a specific point in the creative process. It's when I've crafted the various characters that populate the story and sketched out a rough outline of the overall plot. Inevitably, as a writer, there's always that one development, the must-do moment that I'm burning to bring to life. The instant I manage to weave that must-do moment into the story is, to me, the pinnacle of writerly satisfaction. That cherished, must-do moment often lies at the end of a long build-up, requiring a substantial narrative foundation. This makes it increasingly difficult to reach those moments in a story. Against such a backdrop, being able to deliver the must-do development exactly as I envisioned it here is a rare and precious happiness. I owe this entirely to you, the readers, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Here, we're introduced to yet another new character, a quirky figure with a distinct flavor unlike any we've seen before. Their interactions with Riku are, I believe, delightfully entertaining. The banter and chemistry between characters are the very essence of the light novel genre, and I sincerely hope you'll enjoy these moments as much as I enjoyed writing them. Taro Hitsuji. End of Volume 4.